everybody, and welcome to the last race of the year for the ABB FIA Formula E Championship. Coming into this weekend, there is a total of 14 drivers still in contention to win this title. Mitch Evans is the best of the bunch, starting in the top 6, but anything can happen. Welcome to the last weekend and the last race of this year. To help me preview it, I was on the Grid Network show last night. So let's join Edward Hunter and Joe and the rest of the gang from Grid Network in the preview show. And on the other side, it'll be time for the ePrix with Edward Hunter alongside me in the box.
Berlin ePrix first race is in the books, and it was a very exciting race. Josh and Edward with me to discuss the Formula E race, and of course the first world champion in Formula E will be crowned. We came in with 18 drivers eligible for the championship, only 14 left, and out of those remaining at the Tempelhof Airport, side of last year's 6 rounds Formula E Fest. I want to give a big shout out to Jack at Formula E Zone. I know he's over there at Berlin covering the race. Edward, you've been helping him out with all the videos. We encourage everyone to subscribe to Formula E Zone. And this is the most unpredictable championship out of the 7 Series in the grid ranking. Lucas Di Grassi taking the win over Eduardo Montara and Mitch Evans. Nick DeVries still the points lead, but only 3 points ahead of Montara. Starting with you, Josh. Lucas Di Grassi and Audi, are they serious contenders for this championship coming into tomorrow's race? And because especially both drivers still have a shot at the championship, it appears.
Second win of the year for Lucas Di Grassi. Technically, you could say it's his second in a row because he crossed the line first in London, then got black flagged. So Audi definitely have the pace to lead the racing. Me and Ed were in the commentary screaming, I think, at the last line because it was side by side. So a great end. It proves that this championship is going to be down to the wire, absolutely dramatic. Definitely, I think, as you say, we've got 13 or 14 cars in contention tomorrow going in for the championship. DeVries leads on 95 points. He was pointless today. Di Grassi's moved right back up there. He's now on 87 points. He's got Rene Rast in 12th. He's on 75. So all it takes is a strong qualifying performance. And as me and Ed were discussing today, timing your attack mode. You only get one now lasting for 8 minutes. And that's where I think, personally, Techeetah failed today. They got compromised by the safety car. They went for their attack mode after the safety car. They were low on battery power. They went for it too late as well. So that kind of compromised them in their strategy because they had to fight the way through out of field, whereas if they had it at the front, it would have really been overtaking the 2 Venturas. So, yeah, I think Audi need another good, strong day tomorrow. I definitely don't think they're not going to win. I don't think Di Grassi is going to win the race. Personally, I can see BMW. But I think Di Grassi, if he wants a strong go for the title, good qualifying, and a very, very strong opportunistic attack mode would be crucial.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. That is going to be the key thing, isn't it? Where you qualify and when you use attack mode. And the interesting thing was, with Audi, since we're talking about them, is that they played the team game, didn't they? Rene Rast went for attack mode really early in the race and was able to basically get up the order. In fact, led it in front of Di Grassi for a brief time, but they were able to basically get in and amongst the Techeetahs, and it really felt like you say, Josh, the DS Techeetah team couldn't use the attack mode under the safety car, which would have been the ideal time for them to use it. Leading the race, they just about built like a big enough gap, and then it all got taken away from them. And then when they eventually did have to use attack mode, they found themselves mired in the midfield pack, and Jake Dennis rudely brushing Antonio Felix da Costa aside, but just about getting through into 5th place in the end. So yeah, it was very good teamwork by Audi, but they certainly had the better pace throughout the race. And Lucas Di Grassi really, once he got ahead of Mortara, it was a case of just holding off Ido at the very end there. Very crazy finish, but it sets up the championship very nicely.
That set up for the championship very nicely. I know it's been one of those races where this season has been something else. As I mentioned, 14 eligible, but realistically, the top 12 have a shot at that championship. Top 12 separated by 20 points, of course, 30 points the max. If you go out there, pole, fastest lap in qualifying, lead the most, everything, 30 points. But Nick DeVries today, outside the points, had to go in pit lane after a punctured tire. Do you feel Nick de Vries is still the favorite entering this race tomorrow?
De Vries, he's sort of looked into the lead of the championship, in my opinion. He started off very strong, winning Diriyah, winning Valencia 1, 2 podiums, of course, in London with 2 seconds. But he had a shocker in New York City and a shocker in the second race of Valencia, and retired twice in Rome and DNFs as well, Puebla. Nick de Vries' season looks very much like a roller coaster when you compare it, up, down, everywhere. So he's a very quick driver. He's a very good driver. He is a Formula 2 champion, but I don't think it's mistakes like this today as well. The puncture he's had previous errors as well. He needs a strong qualifying in order to try and get the championship advantage. So, no, I don't think I don't think de Vries is going to be up there. I think he'll be dealt with very quickly by the likes of Mortara, Dennis Evans, a lot more faster drivers who have had more time in Formula E than poor de Vries has. Ed, what about you?
I think we've got about 7 favourites because the top 7 are separated by about 9 points, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, it's very close. And I don't know, the person I've been most impressed by of all the drivers is actually young Jake Dennis, the 26-year-old from Nuneaton in Warwickshire, for BMW Andretti in what is going to be BMW's last race with the team and in the sport, presumably in Formula E. He was able to get up to 5th just behind Mitch Evans, who I thought was also very impressive today. And in fact, Evans, I'd probably say, put on some brilliant moves in the other Jaguar. Although what happened to his teammate, unfortunately, left him well down the standings. And Sam Bird certainly didn't have the race he would have hoped to today. And in fact, I was just listening to an interview about what happened to Sam Bird. And basically, he didn't want to speculate, but basically he had hit from behind and everything just shut down. So there was definitely some kind of technical failure, perhaps brought on by some damage, but he was in a big battle with Maximilian Günther for just outside the points. And it looked like the Jaguar did have great pace, so a missed opportunity for Sam Bird, unfortunately, but Mitch Evans taking full advantage.
Mitch Evans taking full advantage. Sam Bird, the teammate, 14 points behind. And one of the big things, he is going to be in Group 2 of qualifying. All year long, that's been the talk. Group 1, you're just not going to have that great of a lap. We're doing the same track, but the reverse direction. When it comes to this track, starting with you, Ed, Sam Bird and the other drivers in Group 2, will they have the upper hand with qualifying and then that race tomorrow?
I'm not so sure, because we saw today that they didn't. What happened last year during the 6 race Berlin Festival that we talked about, that last year they cleaned the track in between free practice and qualifying, and that led to basically the track rubbering in as the groups went in. So you didn't really want to be in the first group because you had a big disadvantage. And what they did this time, they didn't do that. So the track was still had the rubber on it from free practice 2. And so we saw a mix of different drivers from different groups making it into Superpole. We saw both Venturis, both Techeetahs, and in the end, both Techeetahs did drop down in the race, as I said, for the attack mode reason. But as for the reverse layout, again, it's a different kettle of fish entirely. And I think they're still doing. I think because they was having to reset the track workers have got 15 hours basically between the end of race 1, the beginning of free practice for race 2, to sort of hurriedly put everything in the right position so they can make the reverse layout work. So how much rubber is going to be effective, it really depends if they clean it in between free practice 2 and quali. But I do think Sam Bird will have a better time because he's at least got data from today's race that he can use, if not from himself, then at least from his teammate, to improve his performance and make sure he makes the right decisions on track in the finale. And you never know. I think, like I say, Sam Bird, he is 14 points down, but still got a pretty decent chance, one of his better chances in his Formula E career. So I do think he could still qualify well in Group 2, but I think it's the Group 3 runners, statistically, which tend to do the best. So we've got to watch out for those too.
I mean, for the Group 2 runners, this morning we had Verne and Mortara go through out of the 6. But then everybody else in that session dropped down. Evans died 7th, Verline 9th. Rast and Cassidy were 13th and 14th. So Group 2 very much is more of a lottery of where to go in terms of qualifying. But as Ed said, the grip would remain the same. But also, as I just pointed out, that means that the little rubber bits, I can't remember the actual name of it, the
marbles.
Marbles, thank you, Ed. Yeah, the marbles are going to be on the exit of the corner now, which is going to be on the racing line. So they're going to have to deal with those quite quickly. And I think that's why they've given them 2 more practice sessions tomorrow morning. They've got another free practice 1, free practice 2, in order to get the track exactly as they want it. So it's not going to be like a usual double header where it's free practice 3 and then we're straight into qualifying. There's practice 1, that's 45 minutes. Then 25 minutes after that, we're in for free practice 2. An hour later, we're in for qualifying, and then the race at the usual time. So I like the idea that we've got in reverse. It gives us something different. It gives us something to hype up about for the championship. It's going to give me and Ed a headache in terms of knowing the track layout, which we've just mastered for this weekend, and I'm going to change it tomorrow. And I think it's also going to play up with the drivers because, yes, some of them have raced on it before. We had the reverse races in that Berlin festival last year. But I think the drivers who will suit best are the ones who can adapt. Sam Bird is one of those drivers who can adapt quite quickly. Jake Dennis is another. We've seen DeFries struggle with change. So I don't think he's going to be in that position. I think he's going to run down in Group 2 tomorrow. I'm not sure. No, he runs Group 1, doesn't he? Yeah, Championship leader, Group 1. So DaCosta, Bird, Vern, Lynn, Cassidy, Rast running in Group 2 tomorrow. They are going to be ones to watch. And whoever manages to get into Super Pole, they're going to be the best shot for the title because there'll be an outside lucky dip, like literally just rip off a ticket at the meat counter, wait for your number, then you can go out for your lap. But as
I think that reference might be slightly lost on our American viewers.
Sadly, yeah. Ed, I think we mentioned actually in the commentary as well that there's a lot of risk for contact tomorrow in not only the race but in qualifying as well, because we saw last year in the reverse quali, not many drivers made it to the line. They mistimed it because they thought the lap times would be the same. They mistimed it by about 10 seconds, didn't they, if you can remember?
Yeah, there was a big Group 1 kerfuffle with all the Group 1 runners, and they ended up holding each other up and trying to fight each other on that outlap, and some of them missed the cut. In fact, I think only one of them may have made it, actually, if our memory serves. So that was also not helped by the fact, like I mentioned, with different group conditions, and if the track isn't swept from free practice, then maybe that might avoid that scenario, because it certainly avoided it in today's qualifying. But yeah, like you said, there is just going to be an element of getting the lap in and then managing the race and using attack mode at the right point. And with so many drivers in contention, you can't just afford to let a few points go here and there. Everyone is fighting for every little point they can get, and that's the way it should be, really. You shouldn't have... there was a lot of talk going in about people playing the system of making sure I drop down to Group 2 or 3 so that I can get in the best group position for the final race and get the points I need. But there's not really been any of that. Everyone's been just, well, we'll see where I finish in the race and then I'll get the best result in the qualify. That's been the attitude from most of the drivers. And I think that's good to see, because we did see murmurings and rumours. Oliver Roland tried it earlier in the season. It backfired horribly because he got into Group 2 and it rained.
Yeah.
and it was exactly the wrong group to be in, but as it happened. But yeah. So yeah, I think lots to look forward to tomorrow for you and me, Josh. Like you said, the minor headache of the reverse layout, but I'm sure we'll pick it up quick. We do. The tensions tomorrow are going to be so high. Mistakes are going to be palpable. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. In fact, I'm going to go on record, live on YouTube, Twitch, everything else, radio. Tomorrow could be the greatest championship decider in history.
I think one of the big things I'm anticipating is safety cars in this race. I mean, I think it's going to be all out. Formula E have been known to be so physical at times. I mean, sometimes just as physical as NASCAR Cup Series. And we definitely encourage everyone, if watching, be sure to share who you think is going to win the Formula E race tomorrow. Comment, definitely see you could get on the leaderboard.
Hello, everybody. Welcome up to the commentary box. Edward Hunter joining me for what is going to be a fantastic season finale. 14 drivers come into this race with the chance of being world champion. Ed, I've never known a championship end like this, and I don't even think motorsport has ever seen it before. Who on earth can be world champion today?
Well, realistically, I think there's about 7 that could probably take it, as Josh goes through.
I'm still here. I've left my notes on the other side of the box. I was just thinking, why can I not see the track map? That's because we've come from MotoGP.
Because the top 7 are separated by about 9 points. So that's De Vries obviously leading on 95 points, all the way through to Da Costa, who's about 7 points back on 89.
Yes.
Or is it further than that? Yeah.
Yeah, 89 points.
So, yeah, and then we got obviously the person to drive the best place though at the beginning of this race at least is going to be Mitch Evans, 4th in the championship, and he is in 3rd position, about 6 positions ahead of the next starter contender, which is Jake Dennis. Although there's also Pascal Wehrlein, who's mathematically in contention, but he's like he needs to win and get the fastest lap with a lot of other drivers falling out. And so if Wehrlein or Gunther were the last 2 in the mathematics, if either of them wins this title, I will happily shave off my mustache because I think it's very unlikely to happen. I know what you're thinking, Josh. I've made bets like this before.
You have, eating your hats.
But this time, I'm very confident that this man here we're seeing on screen, Pascal Wehrlein, will not win the championship.
Not a change.
I predicted last night that it would be Jake Dennis. Looks like he's going to have to go some way. There he is to beat Mitch Evans, though. And potentially Nick De Vries could make his way through because Mortara and De Vries are not that far back from Dennis. I think Mortara could be the dark horse here.
Mortara could have a great spot. Remember, yesterday he was so close to winning towards the line as well. He was extremely close. Let's go through the grid then quickly. Vandoorne on pole position. Alongside him, Oliver Roland. Row 2 sees Mitch Evans and Alexander Sims. Row 3 sees Tom Blomqvist and Norman Nato. Row 4, row 4, the grid. Andre Lotto, Sebastian Buemi. Row 5 sees Jake Dennis alongside Pascal Wehrlein. Row 6, Eduardo Mortara and Sergio Camero. Row 7, Nick De Vries and Alexander Lynn. Then on row 8, we get to see Antonio Da Costa and Jean-Eric Verne. Row 9, Lucas Di Grassi and
Gunther.
Yeah, thank you. Gunther down there in 18th as well. Mats Gunther.
Starting from the pit lane.
Yeah, Rast, who was 19th, starts in the pit lane. Then we get Oliver Turvey alongside on row 10. Row 11, Robin Friends and Sam Bird. And row 12, Joel Eriksen and Nick Cassidy. 14 drivers can still win this title as well as we come ready for the lights to go out. 45 minutes plus 1 lap. And Ed...
They're moving from the dummy grid to the main grid, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
And starting from pole position, of course, is Stoffel Vandoorne, where it was announced earlier on today that they're leaving. They're going for next season. The Mercedes are leaving.
Sam Smith from the race reported it that the talks from Daimler-Benz, the group that owns Mercedes, were not entirely positive from the sounds of things. So the speculation from that is that they're going to be leaving at the end of Season 8 before Gen 3. So they would get another season no matter what. But it's certainly not encouraging news, although, you can have formally, we still got 8 other manufacturers technically. Obviously, none of them are quite as big names as Mercedes. Maybe only Porsche and Jaguar and Nissan would be sort of rivals to that. But anyway, that's a whole other thing to talk about, Josh.
Absolutely.
Vandoorne won't care about what happens in future seasons. He's got to win this thing first and help his teammate out.
If he wins.
It's Vandoorne and Roland, the 2 drivers that won in Berlin last year, on the front row here, isn't it?
Absolutely. Here we go then,
Neither
folks.
of them fighting for the title, though.
45 minutes plus 1 lap. We have 24 drivers left in the field. 14 can still win the championship. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and let the championship decide to begin. And immediately Mitch Evans has started the grid. Big crash, and this will be a red flag for sure.
That's Mortara that's hit Evans. Both title contenders out on the spot, Josh.
And immediately that's deployed the safety car. It'll surely have to be a red flag, and 2 title contenders are out of the race. Mitch Evans, who had his best opportunity to do so, is immediately out, and Eduardo Mortara, who you picked before the lights went out, Ed, immediately out, and the safety car out. A dramatic
look at that.
start.
Jake Dennis is being shuffled out by Wehrlein just as the safety car was called. So Dennis, I think, may have dropped down to 9th there. He had just got into 8th. But he is the one now potentially the favourite to win this title with Evans and Mortara out on the spot. It is De Vries, Dennis, and maybe Da Costa can get himself into it. But yeah, dramatic start.
So Evans stalls on the grid. Mortara runs into the back of him. It's happened immediately. Once again,
so
the
much
start.
pressure on Mitch Evans. I wonder if he just got just completely fluffed the start. Maybe just tried to go a little bit too hard, trying to get a perfect getaway. As we see, actually, Sete Kamara overtakes Verline after the safety car was called. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe Verline gave the place back to Dennis and had to give it back to Kamara as well.
No sign of the red flags, but what do you think, Ed? Safety car through the pit lane.
A lot of debris from both cars there.
Yeah.
The marshals will have to work pretty quickly to extract that. They may have the safety car go through the pit lane.
It is. The safety car is to come through the pit lane. That's the message from race control. There it is, safety car and convoy through the pit lane. So 2 out already. We're left with 12 drivers in contention for the championship. Mitch Evans, who started 3rd on the grid, had an absolutely fantastic super pole in qualifying. He got through from Group 1, eliminated by stalling on the grid. Jaguar,
all that
Ed.
hard work,
yeah.
Josh.
And red
the
flag.
Whole season, he would have been a very deserving champion, but there we go.
Red flag, Ed.
Thrown away right at the crucial moment.
Red flag. Race stopped. So the last race of the year has now been suspended with 42 minutes and 59 seconds to go. Too much debris and presumably
there's no spare
extraction.
car for Mitch Evans
Yeah.
or Eduardo Mortara to jump into.
Let's listen. So, well, nothing from Scott Elkin at the race director there.
Oh, he's a bit stunned by that.
Yeah. So, a staller.
So, how is this group going to
park for
route there? So
condition?
Sims is up to 3rd now, is it?
And if you need to consume repairs, you go into your garage. So red flag condition. Your garage.
The marshal just kicking Mortara's wheel arch out of the way.
So it's going to be a complete restart. That is why they're not lining up in the fast lane. They have lined up in their garages. It is going to be a complete restart to this race because it was effectively
two cars
that one.
not making that restart, Josh.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Well, it's a question of how long this red flag's going to be out. But
this really opens it up for Nick De Vries, doesn't it? Because as long as Jake Dennis doesn't get too high into the points, De Vries can hold on to this, can't he?
Second race of the year to be red flagged. The first was back in Diriyah, race 2, after Alexander Lynn decided to take flying lessons.
Look at Evans walking disconsolately away from that Jaguar.
Right, let's take a look. So he gets the start, but then just completely stalls. And Mortara's blindsided by Gunther and smashes into the back of him. No, by Dennis, sorry.
Yeah, it would be Dennis, yeah. 'Cause I think Gunther's a little bit further back. There's Gunther in the foreground here.
And it's just an absolute smash. And that is the worst feeling when you're stuck on the grid.
Yeah, and it's even worse when you get hit from behind because you don't even get a chance to recover. Look, did you see he crawled a little bit forward? So he just kicked into sort of anti-stall maybe, if they have that in Formula E. But yeah, and not Mortara's fault at all. He couldn't really see. He was like the minute the BMW pulled out the way, Jake Dennis. Dennis had good reaction there. Actually,
that could have taken him out.
His arrival. That could be the moment that wins Jake Dennis this title, potentially, if he can just survive this race and get a bit higher up into the points. We didn't mention too much, actually, but big shout-out to Tom Blomqvist in qualifying. There we see Dennis trying to go around the outside of Buemi just as the safety car is called. Hopefully he gets to keep that position. And De Vries!
Wow, he touched the wall!
De Vries having to thread the needle there between Mortara's Venturi and the inside there of the pit wall.
Unbelievable.
Oh, look at this on board. And we're about to have a big hit, and the camera feed hits because it gets so shaken up by the impact from the Venturi and grief on the figures at Jaguar. They can't believe what they're seeing. Going to have to drink more of that Coke to get through this one, I think. Big Coke bottle in the foreground next to James Barkley. But there's Evans returning to the pits, and it's over for him. There's no repairing that car. And he goes into his little cubicle, and it doesn't want to be bothered. And who can blame him, really?
No, and that's his tides. He will leave here feeling utterly defeated and literally smashed up as well because he had a great start. Let's listen.
Walking back to the garage, but did you get the chance to speak to him on the team radio? I mean, do you know what happened to the car and why it didn't start?
Yeah, no, unfortunately we'll need more time to diagnose it. For us, just an absolute shame. But as a team, we put ourselves into position to fight for a Drivers and Teams Championship today. That's what we're most proud of. Just a shame it's ended in this way. We'll get to the bottom of what the problem is. But yeah, most importantly, we have to look at the whole performance from the team this year, and to be in this position today was something we work towards. It's a shame, it's motor racing, it's sport, it happens. It's how you recover and move on.
Hugely disappointing for you and the team.
Interesting
Can't
comments
imagine
from
how you
Vince
must
Buckley
feel.
there. They're still leading the team's championship, so
Yeah.
Sam Bird really needs to get into the points somehow here.
He's
from
moved
his
up to
lowly group.
18th. Yeah.
Yeah, he did have a horrible qualifying, but he has moved up a few places, at least 2, with his teammate and Mortara out. But
And this is absolutely dreadful. As Evans, thankfully, both of them are out of the car and okay, which is great news. Last thing we wanted was anybody getting injured at the last one, but how London 2015 was that? It's happened straight away at the start. 2 of the title contenders
16,
crashing.
wasn't it?
16, sorry, yeah, 16, yeah. Smashing into each other.
I remember I was there.
You were there, yes. Let's take another look at it. So he bogs down at the start. Everyone gets away, but yeah, Mortara is blindsided by Jake Dennis, and everyone just
look, the
gets through.
Techeetah and the Audi also went through the really small gap right when the Venturi was there. So they threaded right behind De Vries there.
So that would be
That would have been
DaCosta.
and I think DeGrassi.
Yeah, DaCosta and DeGrassi. And Gunther's moved up into 15th place because of that, and Mortara gingerly walking away. Mortara's title hopes completely over. He was second in the World Championship as well.
Yeah, if anything, even bigger loss for Mortara for a smaller independent team. You wonder if he'll ever get that chance again. And really, it wasn't even his
Race
fault
director.
there.
So if you can, please keep the drivers in the cars and we'll get everything cleaned up.
Well, these 2 are out their cars because the cars are in bits.
And there's no way they can repair it. Too much damage as well as...
Oh, he's going to look for Mitch to apologise, maybe?
Well, I think...
Perhaps he feels he could have avoided it.
Just checking really both of them, and that's
Maybe checking
the
that Mitch
gentleman.
was okay because it was a big impact.
Yeah, that's the
But,
gentleman from Edo there. Just
Yeah,
getting
such
through.
a nice guy. You got to feel for him too, as well as Mitch Evans.
So,
But the interesting thing here is, does this open things up for someone like Robin Friends,
Yes.
who's in 5th in the champion? I think he's right about where DaCosta is in the points, because DaCosta is a couple of places up the road, and Friends has now got to somehow clear Sam Bird, Turvey, DeGrassi, Gunther, DaCosta, and get into the points here. Because if he could just get a few points, he might be able to get into contention. But he's got the likes of Dennis ahead. It's Dennis who's really in the box seats right now. It really is sort of turned from a 4-horse race into a 2-horse race, hasn't it?
yeah, and this is where it gets interesting, as you say. Dennis P8 started down there. Let's hear from Mitch Evans, actually. He's down there with Nicky Shields.
Well, Mitch Evans, there was so much promise and potential at the start of this race. But first of all, great to see you walk into the garage. Are you okay? And what happened in the car?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. We seemed to have some sort of failure after the launch. So it went, and then I had an alarm, and the car basically just stopped. So, yeah. And then obviously Edo had nowhere to go. I feel for him as well. But it was over before it even started, which, yeah, is obviously just not meant to be this year.
Emotions obviously are very raw right now. What's kind of running through your mind?
I don't really know, to be honest. Obviously, I'm gutted for the whole team, for myself. Just to not even get a run in it is tough, you know. Just I've never had that issue before, and obviously we'll analyze it. But yeah, obviously it's going to take a while for the pain to ease. But look, there's not much I can do right now.
All right, well, it's great to see you're okay. Thanks very much, Mitch Evans.
That's great to hear.
Yeah. Exactly, and interesting comment there. He said there was a launch failure, some kind of a technical. He said the alarm came up. It's almost like you want to start your car and then the car alarm goes off. But yeah, we did see what happened as we look at the impact again on the replay. We did see what happened to Sam Bird yesterday, where the car shut down mysteriously after impact, and I wonder if that's a flaw in the Django. They've been fast all season, but their reliability has been a little bit fragile at times. And not helped, of course, by sometimes Bird and Evans getting into incidents. But it's a shame. We've seen some great moments from Mitch Evans this season. Remember Monaco, that pass at the top of Beau Rivage into Casino Square.
Oh, what the move of this season, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and such an outstanding moment, even though he didn't end up getting the win that day. He ended up being pushed back to third. But some great performances from Mitch Evans this season. So even though it's not going to be his driver's title this year, I think he can still hold his head up high with some great performances. We look at Jev. He's taking the helmet off just to get some cool air in. But, yeah, looking like it's really opened up now, hasn't it? With all that happening, suddenly these drivers that were several points back, as we look at flatbed trucks pulling away the Formula E car. I hope those are electrically powered, but they probably aren't.
Be, yeah. What I'm thinking is, are we going to have another standing start? Because I know in Formula One, when the race is red flagged, we have a standing start. I'm not sure what the procedure is for Formula E because they changed it, of course. And then the race that got red flagged earlier on this year wasn't restarted, with Lynn having to be taken to hospital. And now look at this. As it stands, De Vries and Dennis are level on points. You are right. That move from Jake Dennis to avoid move of the championship, maybe.
Yeah, that move on Buemi, just before the safety car. So, and as was avoiding Evans at the beginning, of course, yeah. But Vandoorne, mysterious, he's going to cop up to third. Although, of course, mathematically he can't, even taking maximum score today, he can't eclipse Nick De Vries' total. So,
what's really annoying as well, the British Touring Car Championship is about to start their second race of the day live, and we're under a red flag, which means we could have covered it if we needed, but we can't stop and start streams, which is really annoying.
How about you cover touring cars, and I'll keep talking Formula E. So we'll just talk over each other.
To be fair, actually, that could be possible, but it takes too long to set everything up.
You might have to do BBC Radio 5 lifestyle, just updates on what's going on there. But this is, of course,
we will have that race.
Ideal for Mercedes with Mitch Evans out of the race. It puts them in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. We're winning. We could talk a little bit about Mercedes leaving now because we've got the red flag.
Red flags out,
Well, would winning both championships convince Mercedes, the Daimler board, to stay?
Or
do you think it's more to do with exposure, that they feel that they're not getting return on investment because there aren't enough eyeballs on Formula E compared to, say, even though Formula One, they dominate, and as many people they say it's boring, up until this season with Red Bull, of course. But even a boring Formula One race, they get more eyeballs on them than the best Formula E race. And that's kind of the way it is. It's a legacy of the Bernie years where man on the street thinks that Formula One is the only motorsport that exists because it's the only one that gets covered in the newspapers and general media. But here we go. The clock stopped at 42 minutes, 59 seconds. Plus one lap, of course.
I'm very...
So we'll get a full race distance after this. But they need to make sure those batteries don't overheat while they're standing in the pit lane, right? As well as those tyres, of course.
I'm surprised they haven't put them into the garage, actually, because they're going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, just sat there
I'm
baking.
not sure they're allowed.
Yeah, they said part firme, didn't they? Let's hear from Susie Wolf, actually.
He's okay. He said over the radio to his engineer, look, I'm fine, but they want to take him just for a checkup in the medical centre. I think he hurt his back. It was certainly quite a big impact, so I'm sure he'll be fine, but let's see.
For you guys,
big cheer.
It's an absolutely devastating end to his season and your championship fight. It's been an awesome season from you guys. It's been a pleasure watching you battle it out.
It feels like it's over before it ever really started today. We were so looking forward to the fight out there. Obviously, we knew it was going to be close. We knew we had to do a really good job today. But yeah, I'm a bit speechless, to be honest. It's over.
We all are.
But we've still got Norman in the race, so let's see for the team championship and for Norman if we can get him onto the podium finally.
All right, Susie.
And that, just taking another look at it from the lights out, it was an horrific hit as well. It was very quick as well.
Yeah, do you see Tom Blomqvist trying to hold on to position for NATO, locking up there?
And you're right, De Vries hit the front wing and then nearly hit the wall as well. It could have been an all. Let's take a look on board, actually, with De Vries.
There could have been 3 title contenders out on the spot there, but good reactions from De Vries. I actually disagree with what you said on Grid Network the other day about Nick De Vries, Josh, because you said that he'd kind of lucked into the title lead. I think he's been exceptional. We sort of, last season in 2020, we sort of put De Vries as our kind of rookie of the year because his performances were consistently really strong. And I think he had a lot of bad luck last year with a lot of mechanical failures and penalties and stuff like that.
We've got the restart order. If you can see that, Ed, on your timing screen, to finish that and go through the grid.
Yeah, I was kind of at the end of my thought, really. But, yeah, certainly Nick De Vries and Stoffel Vandoorne could really impress. I think it would be a big story for Mercedes. It does feel a lot of the timing of this leak of what the Daimler board is thinking of doing with the Mercedes' future in Formula E. It feels like it's time to almost undermine the season because everyone's going to be talking about, so-and-so's a champion, but Mercedes are leaving. And it's going to undermine, I think, a little bit this title decider, which is a bit of a shame. And almost feels like Mercedes are worried about losing the championship, want to make sure they're still the main story no matter what happens. I feel like they're bigger than the series, and maybe there was some truth to that, but I don't know. It just feels like could have waited until after the finale, in my opinion. This whole leak thing, but then again, it may just be that it's a genuine leak that wasn't intended from the Daimler board. That a journalist asked the right question, and Sam Smith was able to get that information for the race. But because we do know the race sponsored by Neon, who also sponsor Mercedes, so perhaps Saudi Arabia once again is to blame for this somehow. Like I blame them for everything, of course, but sometimes justifiably. I mean, human rights isn't really something to joke about. But then anyway, I'm kind of getting a bit off topic. This is a long red flag, isn't it?
It is a very long red flag, and we've got the restart order. Restart behind the safety car. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's a
I did
rolling
think
one.
they might do that.
Let's listen.
Exit in the order that we have posted on the timing screen, please.
I think.
And that order is Vandoorne, Roland, Sims, ahead of Nato. Then we get Blomqvist, Lotterer, Buemi, Sete Camera, Verline, Lynn, De Vries, Vern, De Costa, Gunther, De Grassi, Turvey, Bird, Friends, Ericsson, Cassidy, Rast. That is the restart order. So exactly as it is on the timing screen will be the restart whenever we get to the green flag as well.
I bet you the person who most relieved about the restart, about having started from the pit lane, would be Rene Rast. It's almost like he saw that was going to happen. Does Rene have a sixth sense? No. That would be a good thing to advertise. If he needs future services, as Oliver Roland trundles down the pit lane to inherit second position, I'm assuming. They showed the earlier shot. There's Vandoorne at the tail of the.
They're all coming through now.
I saw that shot of Turvey leading, and I thought, oh wow, Neo are going to lead this race somehow. And then, oh yeah, of course, because they're at the end of the pit lane, so they have to be there. There's Nick De Vries.
Message there confirming the restart order as they come through. There's the safety car waiting at the end of pit lane as we're getting ready to restart. The race will go green, so they will leave the pit lane now as Vandoorne, Roland, Sims all starts coming out, and the red flag that's been out for around about 20 minutes can get this race restarted. Brilliant. Let's get this one going.
Apart from the title fight, we've also got Oliver Roland fighting with Vandoorne. They were very close in Superpole. I have to say, it's Roland's last race for Mahindra. For Nissan before he moves to Mahindra. There's a Mahindra right behind him, which is probably going to be his future teammate, Alexander Sims, unless they decide to keep Lynn at the last minute and break contract with Sims, which seems a bit unlikely. Do you think Oliver Roland's going to risk it all just to win this race and beat Vandoorne? We have seen them collide in London, and Oliver Roland has had his fair share of fights before. If they collide, do you think that's going to hand it to Sims?
I think Roland has got to go for it. He has got to. It's his last race. He's not going to be picked up next year by Nissan. So Roland's going to go all out. Now he's put it in
Well, it's his last race for Nissan, a team that's really treated him well.
Poorly,
Part of the reason he's leaving is because his salary does not reflect that of Buemi, even though he's comfortably beaten Buemi. That's what we're hearing anyway. It could be something else, but it's definitely to do with his status in the team that was why he sort of ended up going on the market, and Dilbagh Gill snatched him up basically mid-season after Monaco basically, and they announced it. It sort of emerged after Puebla that Roland was moving and probably to Mahindra. So there's Lotterer also looking like he could be quite threatening today. And there's Jake Dennis just behind Buemi. So he didn't get in front of Buemi there, but he is crucially ahead of Sete Camara and Verline. So he's got two cars in between himself and I believe Nick De Vries.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's Lynn as well. Sorry.
I'm not sure why at the moment they're all just stopping out the exit the pit lane, because the race should have restarted.
Well, they're getting the order sorted at the back, I think.
Did we see this in, where was it? Bern, in Switzerland. Do you remember?
Well, I remember that was also in Bern. What was quite controversial was they had to reset to the grid order of the cars that were still in the race.
Race restarts in 2 minutes. Go on.
Whereas here, they have decided to keep the order mainly because two of the top four, two of the title contenders that were really high in the standings have crashed into each other. So the grid has had to, they've sort of put it from the middle of the first lap, basically. In Bern, there was a lot of controversy because De Grassi basically cut the chicane along with a bunch of others to try and gain positions. And they all wanted to keep those positions. Race Direction said no, and ended up having to reset to grid order because it was such a mess. Whereas here, it's a bit more straightforward, isn't it?
Yep. As race director.
Stand by.
Okay, slide.
So slight delay for some reason.
Yeah, slight delay to the restart time. So it's just a standby. Well, this is just...
That's not good for these batteries.
No.
All these drivers are going to get a bit hot and bothered.
Are they going to be switched on as well, the batteries? They'll be switched on, won't they? So they can't just stop the car and then restart the car. So this could get even worse. And actually, there's a safety car out in the touring cars as well.
It's bad for the cars at the front, not necessarily for the ones at the very back.
Yeah.
Who are just getting in. Well, they would have been most recently.
Look at that accident from another camera angle. Oh, that was such a heavy hit as well. It lifted
Still
the
we got a little bit of air there.
Yeah. Adam is saying from Grid Network, I hope Mercedes stay in Formula E. Talked yesterday about a crazy race. Absolutely. Joe as well from Grid Network saying, wow, just crazy start to Formula E Championship. Glad both drivers are okay. Yeah, remember, we've got a title to decide here as well. There's an awful
It's a crazy start to the end of the Formula E Championship.
That's the one, yeah.
Start fairly dramatically, I'm assuming. Interior, I didn't watch that race because for obvious reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
And I won't be watching the season opener in January or whenever it is next year. But right, so really, I do think the only person who could potentially get the cat among the pigeons here, if he has an amazing race, is Robin Freins or Da Costa. Freins or Da Costa are the only ones who could potentially make this more than a two-way fight. Otherwise, it's BMW versus Mercedes, it's De Vries versus Dennis, and Bird has got the tough job of trying to get back in the lead of the Constructors' Championship, but he's got both Mercedes ahead of him, so Jaguar are really on the back foot now.
And with only, as you say, Bird left, that's 18th. He did start this race in 22nd, but count those other two positions, he's only really got ahead of Freins and Ericsson, because everybody else, the other two, crashed out. So we have got this delay. The race should have restarted by now, but they are still delaying it. As I think BBC, who are broadcasting today's race, are having some interruptions with the world feed because there's been audio spikes and everything's glitching a little bit. We had this back in also with the problem. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. Qualifying 2.
Oh, I hope this doesn't overrun because then the BBC will have to show a repeat of Bargain Hunt or something.
Well, actually, we've got a safety car out right now in the British Touring Car Championship. That's on lap 624, so that'll delay everything even further. But straight after this, we're on a very quick off now because I've got to go do the British Touring Car Race 2, and then at 5:25, the last race of the day should be live. And I'm starting to think, are we ever actually going to get to that point? So we might have to do some clever fast forwarding with some red flags. So we'll keep an eye out.
Another thing about this is because of the way qualifying shaped out, this is a big opportunity for the likes of Norman Nato and Tom Blomqvist to get a podium, which we haven't seen from either of those drivers, especially Neo, have not had a superb result. I think it's probably a bit too late for Neo to jump Dragon in the team standings, especially because they got the podium second place earlier from Muller in Valencia, but they've also got Sede Kamara down in 9th at the moment, although I imagine Verline and Lynn, when the race restarts, will probably have a decent chance to get past him. But Blomqvist will be doing extremely well to score points, to be honest, because the Neo is just not quite got the pace of the cars around it in the race trim, but their efficiency isn't too bad at Neo. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But the longer this waits, the more difficult it's going to be at that restart. Tyres, brakes getting cold. Well, the tyres, I'm not sure how they'll be reacting because obviously the track surface is still quite hot. But the batteries will not like this at all. It's going to be... There's a real chance that we could see a random failure almost anywhere on the grid, couldn't we, Josh?
Watch out for Sam Bird, who had that yesterday as well.
Yeah, well, of course, because he had that yesterday, Jaguar will probably be doing everything they can to avoid it happening again, especially now Mitch Evans had what we might have been a similar failure at the start there that caused him to fail to get off the line. It may not have been Mitch Evans' fault. It may have just been... We've seen it before in Formula E where sometimes the driver has everything set up, press the button, and then almost nothing happens. The car just dies, and it's not. It does always look like it's the driver's fault, but you don't necessarily know unless you've analysed exactly the sequence of events. It sounded like an alarm went off, so I'm not sure that's necessarily Evans' fault.
Was it Sarrazin who had that in Putrajaya in a De Cheetah? I think it was.
It would have been season 2, wouldn't it, when he was driving for Venturi?
Yeah, something. He stalled on the grid, didn't he? And it delayed the start procedure.
Yeah, he was on the front row as well. And then he ended up having a great race, finished 4th in the end. I think just missed out on catching Robin Freins. That was the race where Freins got his first podium for Andretti after he hit the wall and damaged the rear suspension and was crabbing down the straights for the last 3 laps. I remember it was pretty insane.
I just got that race as well, because Formula E moved it, didn't they? 3 hours forward, and it was on the middle of the night for the UK.
Early in the morning.
Yeah, so I
late at night. I sort of stayed up to watch qualifying as well in that time. Never again. I'm not doing.
No, I'm not doing that again. But it was so close because I only learned about it because I woke up during the middle of the night and I looked at my phone and it said it gave an alert. I think Jenny Gow tweeted that the race had changed, so I had about 10 minutes to get down to the. Where was the commentary? Yeah, downstairs at the time, where the commentary was. So I managed just to get there in time and wake everybody up a couple of hours early. So they really hated me for that night, because it was supposed to be 8 o'clock.
Lethargy is set in Berlin. Yeah. Everyone looking a bit like they're about to go to sleep now.
I know. The red flag now been out for half an hour, and this is unusual when everyone's just sat there waiting. They're going to be hot. They're going to be sweating.
What's annoying is we've not had, in typical Formula fashion, we've not had any explanation for this.
No.
Because the cars are out the way. Everyone's at the exit of the pit lane. Some of the cars even on track, actually. But they're all stationary behind the safety car, waiting to restart. Could there be a problem with the safety car, Josh?
Well, if there was a problem with
they would charge it up before, wouldn't they?
They would. If there was a problem with the safety car, wouldn't they just change it to the BMW that's also there? They'd swap it to the BMW. I'm surprised it's actually not the BMW for this one. Considering it's BMW's last race, and I presume they're pulling the safety car out as well. And the race gets restarted. The safety car has officially been deployed, and the last race of the year will go green. Eventually,
it's comical on the timing. We have
hello
Vandoorne through to Verne just stopped, and then everyone else in the pit lane, which is quite funny. Oh, there's a message from race control there.
It was absolutely nothing as well. It just came on as quickly as it went. The race restarts then behind the safety car. The clock has started again, 42 minutes and 40 seconds. We will have a rolling restart behind the safety car as well after the red flag. Joe as well saying 10 drivers left for the championship. Did someone park their car on the track? What's going on? Yeah, it took a while, didn't it? Mitch Evans actually registered down at turn 8. That's where his car has ended up.
Wow, he travelled a long way, considering he didn't get off the starting grid.
Yeah, it's got down
That's
there.
That's probably where the flatbed truck has gone with his car.
Well, that would be the back of just at the back of the paddock in the Jaguar area, the pit lane. So that should go. Safety car in this lap. So we'll get this race restarted.
So we're going to get underway pretty soon, and we won't have to have a potential second start crash, which is a relief. As everyone tries to get those tyres and brakes up to a decent temperature ahead of the start. Look at Jake Dennis and Camara and Verline just swirling around down the straight. And this is the straight, of course, where Vandoorne made several overtakes last time we were here last year. Won't have to do that this year, of course. He's already at the front. And it could be a second victory of the season for Stoffel Vandoorne. But Oliver Roland hasn't won yet this season. He's not had the brilliant qualifying, but not had the results he would have wanted as we get underway, Josh.
Green flags are out, and after a 32-minute red flag period, the green now is on in Berlin, down towards turn 1 as well. Who's going to have the opportunity? There's a car going very slowly in the middle of the pack because there's yellows already further back.
Block up by
Who's on the wall? Is that Jake Dennis in the wall? It is! It's Jake Dennis out of the race! He's broken the rear suspension! And Jake Dennis, the championship contender, is out at turn 1! They're dropping like flies here in Berlin!
He just got the braking wrong.
Is that a consequence of the fact that we're sitting in the sun for too long?
Could have been, yeah. The pressure just grew. He knew he was in a great position. He tried to get past Buemi again and has found himself in the wall. That is terminal for Jake Dennis. I don't think he can get that thing going again.
Unbelievable. As now...
to the very back regardless.
And so we've got a yellow flag out then as well. No sign of the safety car. The 27's out.
He's into 10th as well, so 96 points will be his total now. And all his rivals dropping off the road, but De Vries keeping a cool head here. And that could be what decides this.
So De Vries might actually get a chance at the championship as there's another yellow at turn 10.6. So what's that? That's the last corner. Why is there a yellow flag out there? We knew there was one at turn 1. Why it's the last corner at turn 10? No one has seen it dropping down.
Point for De Vries because he's just set fastest lap of the race as Verline holds off Sete Camara. Just gets past Sete Camara for 8th actually.
Dennis
is out of the way.
Yeah, Dennis, I think is he still there? Has he got? No, he's still there.
No, still stationary. He's not been told to get out of the car yet.
Full course yellow. Full course yellow. So that's the call. So Jake Dennis is out.
So distraught.
And he was both our pick for the championship. So Sims locks up. And did he
Oh,
really?
it's
Did he run?
behind. Yeah, he was right. I think he made
Lotterer.
contact with the back of Buemi.
Oh, was it Buemi? Yeah, yes, it was Buemi down in P8. So let's take a look on
Here we go,
boards.
yeah. So Buemi on the inside. De Vries sort of looks to the outside.
Dennis
They need
comes
to
up.
turn one.
No, he locks up. He locks on the rear completely.
Yeah, there wasn't the grip to slow down in time, and into the wall he went, really.
Oh, no. So now that's 9 left in this championship hunt here in Berlin.
Yeah, but you know what? Even though it just ended in pretty dramatic fashion there for Jake Dennis, you have to say, as a rookie, to be within a chance of the championship in the final race, he's done an amazing job this season, winning 2 races. He'll be back next season. I'm sure he'll be better having gone through all this experience. So he'll be hurting now, but I think in the long run, it's going to be the making of Jake Dennis.
And he's out completely. So suspension broke, car out. This might have to be a full safety car, though. He's at the bottom of the track. Jack Nicholls, despite being in the commentary box, is still tweeting.
Oh, he's so frustrated.
Big hand slam down as well, with I presume the big F word being there, not formula, out of the race. And he is so angry.
F for forlorn.
Yes. I don't believe it. So who's next? Mitch Evans, who was running 4th in the championship, stalled on the grid, got crashed into.
I suppose De Vries could hit trouble, and then suddenly it's going to be De Costa's or Vrains.
Just to wrap this up for you, Eduardo Mortara, 2nd in the title, out. Jake Dennis, 3rd in the title, out. Mitch Evans, 4th in the title, out. It's now Nick de Vries who leads on 95 points to Robin Freins, who is on 89 points. And Robin Freins is currently down in 18th position. So then you look to Lucas de Grassi, who is on 87 points. De Grassi...
Where is De Grassi 15th in the
He's running 15th. So far, the championship is going to Nick de Vries. There you go, look. It'll be a Mercedes 1-2. And Eduardo Mortara's out of it. Dennis Evans out. So we now have to turn our attention to Robin Freins is down there as well. Nick de Vries, out of 14 drivers today, could become the lucky one and not have any problems. And if he continues, as you say, the way he's going, he's moving slowly up the order. He's in 10th place at the moment.
Well, he doesn't really have to score any points.
No.
His total from London,
those
two podiums, those 2 second places, that has really put him in this position where the others have had to catch up, and they've crumbled. They've all made crucial mistakes or had issues that weren't their fault. Like Evans and Mortara may have just had the
green
2 separate issues there. There we go. We're going back to racing then. And Roland very close behind Vandoorne.
And Sims, I think, touched the wall at the exit. Sims had a very slow start. He also had an aquaplane moment on the dry tyres as well. Look, the car looks completely uncontrollable, actually, into the braking zone.
He's doing a good job for an uncontrollable car.
Yeah, he's managed to get through the corners, but the car's shaking a lot as well as you come down towards turns 6 and 7. Back round the loop section as well. Another 2 kilowatt energy reduction. That's 4 in total as we start only lap 5, and all of them have been led by Stoffel Vandoorne.
Okay, so the interesting thing here is now Da Costa was the next behind Freins, I think. So he could potentially come into play if the Yasuchita decide to play the team game and let Verne, who's a long way down, has only a very remote chance of the championship. If Verne lets Da Costa through. But will he let him through, I wonder? We did see him do it yesterday, and it didn't exactly work out for both of them.
I think he'd have to let him through, surely, as Roland's now coming through.
Yeah, there we go, as that's Rast getting past Cassidy at the very back.
Roland's asking, are you sure about that? Not sure what he's on about. Maybe, taking attack mode?
Are you sure about overtaking Vandoorne this early in the race, maybe?
Yeah, because he'll lose out. Right now, Roland's in a great position to just take the chance of getting the attack mode, which is 8 minutes long, ahead as well. It's getting close out here.
It's either about attack mode or it's about track position here. Because if he can lift and coast behind Vandoorne, he can potentially save a bit more energy for the closing stages.
He's getting close, isn't he, at the last corner?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hold back. I think he's going to try and overtake him and then go for attack mode.
Nissan want a win in Berlin, and Roland definitely wants it in his last race for the team. Not sure where he's ending up next year, though.
Fastest lap for...
Nato.
That'd be Norman Nato for the moment.
And now Verline.
Sims very briefly.
Now it's Verline. 1:10.052.
Yeah, Verline keeping his remote title hopes alive somehow. Of all the contenders.
Down in 13th, yeah.
Yeah, of all the contenders, he's about the highest place now. Now that
he
Dennis
is.
Out.
You're absolutely right. As Bird passes Turvey, so Bird to 16th as well, keeping his title hopes alive. But as I said, 3 of them out, and they're 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the title. As I said, Mortara, Dennis, and Evans. So De Vries gets a little bit of a buffer going to Robin Friends, who's so far not in the points. Attack mode is going to be very crucial in this race. Another safety car as well might just put it. Look at that. De Vries, 97 points. He'll get 1 for the fastest lap as well, and an extra 2 points on the board. So he'll move up from 95 to 97. Finishing ninth.
And Vandoorne would be ahead of Mortara despite having the same points because with 2 wins to Mortara's 1. So that would be what puts him ahead. But yeah, I have a feeling that Robin Friends is really going to struggle here. He's already stuck behind Turvey now. He's going to defend like crazy because Turvey really wants at least something from this season. But yeah, Teams Championship, it's really looking like
Mercedes.
Not much is going to be able to stop Mercedes, especially with De Vries now moving up into the lower points. I'm starting to feel worried about my mustache from seeing Caroline up in 8th.
You are.
But
yeah, you must be. But can I just say...
At least Gunther down in 15th, so that's one I'm not worried about.
Are we generally on about the fact that the widest title fight we have ever seen in any motorsport, and both the championships are going to be won by a Mercedes driver? That's just a big middle finger to every motorsport fan. Oh yeah, they can win anything. They've even won Formula E now. And on the announcement, they might retire.
To be fair, they've had to deal with a lot of... as NATO goes for attack mode.
And it's going to lose a position
just behind Blomqvist. But not for long.
Yeah, Blomqvist goes back round. Sims now moves up into 3rd. Is that Roland? No. That's me getting ahead of myself.
NATO still getting past Blomqvist.
Yeah, NATO.
So just behind, but the straight was long enough for him to pull ahead. So now NATO has pulled the trigger first, and he's going to attack Alexander Sims in the next lap or so, and potentially give Roland a bit of trouble as he tries to fight with Vandoorne. So that might give Roland the hurry up to try to overtake Vandoorne. But look, there we go. Vandoorne holding both of them up. Sims is now in this fight as well.
And Sims...
Could Alexander Sims take a first win for Mahindra here if he plays his cards right?
Could too.
Roland pulls out.
Lotter's going for Blomqvist. Lotter has passed Blomqvist in towards turn 1. And Adam is saying as well, no, our pick of Jake Dennis winning the title. Joe saying Lucas Joe saying Lucas de Grassi still has a chance. Adam says, very true, Joe. And Joe also then saying, this is giving me 1992 Atlanta vibes. And Roland saying, I think we should go now over the radio. He's absolutely going for it as now Sims takes attack mode.
He's not going
missed
for attack
it.
Mode, though. That's Sims going for it.
Sorry, Sims goes over attack mode.
You're right. I was,
all right, okay.
But it was just the radio message was a bit confusing there. I think Roland he's got NATO now right behind him with 2.5 minutes left of attack mode. So Roland's going to be vulnerable here, at least in terms of track position. If NATO can get ahead of Vandoorne, that would work well.
Verline's under investigation, overtook under yellow flag. That's Verline's title. Hope's gone. So that outside Hope's gone now.
You see De Vries, he's very close to the wall there.
Oh, he's taking it a lot,
a little bit of ground to Verline, actually.
He's using a lot of pushing and passing as well. He's got to have it up.
10 or 12, just after the long straight, the back straight, and he just, is that him on the radio?
Yeah.
De Vries being told to close.
Yeah, De Vries just closing up on the front there as well, and also just saying the gap between them. What's happened side by side?
He's in attack mode now. That's why he's behind Verline.
And he's now going to have an attack as well. At the same time, Roland's coming under pressure from Nato as well. Nato in the attack mode with only 1 minute 50 left. So Ed, I think it's gone back down to 4 minutes of attack mode. So it's 2 uses they'll get of it, not 1. So today...
they made that announcement right before the race. And Roland goes for it rather than being overtaken.
So
by
Roland,
NATO,
and
Sims.
Sims.
Comes out behind Sims.
And yeah, it's 4 minutes, so it's 2 4-minute attack modes to be used. Joe saying the 1992 had 6 drivers come into with a shot of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series Championship. 3rd place in the standings, winning by 5 points. 1 extra lap led to give a 5 points bonus. Well, you don't get that here, but it could be very, very close.
NATO is about to take the lead from Stoffel Vandoorne. This would be the first lap that NATO's led, as long as he doesn't crash into the back of Vandoorne here, which he was very close to doing at the last corner. Here we go. Is Vandoorne going to defend the inside? Yes, he is, but NATO goes even more to the inside, and through he goes.
Fabulous move! And NATO leads now, takes over on lap 10. Can Vandoorne get back ahead? No.
Well, not for a while, but NATO's about to run out, so he kind of had to make that move there. But now he's going to be a sitting duck.
Sims goal! Yeah, look at that! Wide! Vandoorne made an error and Sims barged up into 2nd place. So Sims goes to 2nd.
And Sims has got 1.5 minutes left, whereas NATO has only got about 30 seconds. So Sims is going to have a minute to try and catch up to NATO when NATO will be vulnerable and Sims will still be in attack mode, as Roland now all over the back of Vandoorne.
Who's that taking?
Really hoping to do
Blomqvist
this again to get into attack mode later.
Blomqvist takes attack mode, gets out ahead of Boemi, but crucially releases De Vries back to 6th place.
Yeah, this is working out beautifully for Nick De Vries at the moment.
What a run we've got going on here in Berlin. 29 minutes plus 1 lap to go as well of this fantastic, crazy race.
Yeah, I really think Roland now is in box seats here.
Just follow Roland, Vandoorne's being told. Just follow Roland.
Yeah, and Lotte right behind Vandoorne, despite not going into attack mode either. So Lotte has basically caught up to Vandoorne because Vandoorne hasn't gone for attack mode.
Down towards turn number 1. Oh, I desperately want to call it turn 10 as well after yesterday, but we've rotated the track layout.
It's opposite day, remember? There was someone joking, a friend of mine, Sophie, was joking on Twitter that this should be the, instead of the Berlin ePrix, it should be the Berlin backwards, which is...
That's a good one, actually. Yeah?
Nerlib, I think.
Nerlib. That's a good one, actually.
Or Neerlurb, isn't it?
Look, Lotte has got an attack. Lotte, and that's why. Vandoorne taking attack mode.
And Vandoorne, of course, gets his customary fan boost as well, but he hasn't used it yet. He's now just ahead of Nick De Vries, who's about to run out of attack mode,
and
so hopefully De Vries won't make a move on him.
And meantime, further back as well, side by side, later positions as well, and through goes Verline.
Yeah, Verline quite easily getting past Boemi, who has not really shown the wheel-to-wheel confidence that we've seen in previous seasons. So Boemi really hoping to end what's been a tricky season for him, just with a couple of points really, and to get some respectability back for Nissan. But there we go. I think De Vries runs out, and now Lotte can make hay and get Vandoorne can make hay and get back past Lotte, as Roland still behind Sims, interestingly enough, with a minute left of attack mode.
So the fan boost has been awarded for the last time this year. It is Stoffel Vandoorne, Nick De Vries, Antonio Felix da Costa, Lucas de Grassi, and Mitch Evans. But Evans won't be using it.
Evans won't be able to make much of it, will he?
No, he's out of it. And now we'll keep an eye out on who's going to win it next. 27 minutes to go, and now it's still going there as that's Sims taking attack mode. Same time, Lotte goes there.
Sims getting out of the way, both attack modes really quickly.
Oh, does Lotte come out ahead of Nick De Vries? He does. So De Vries gets held up. And here comes Blomqvist,
mode is going to attack De Vries. This is going to be difficult for the championship leader. Don't want to fight that too hard at all.
Oh, it nearly runs into the back of him as well. So Blomqvist doing the two-step.
Confident stuff by Tom Blomqvist there. He's not going to be pushed around in the near.
No, Blomqvist has been the surprise of the weekend. The amount he's actually pushed. It's been incredible. And I have to say, in the qualifying record, he's beaten Oliver Turvey, who is no slouch in qualifying. 9-5 this season. Technically, it's 10-5, but I don't count Rome because Oliver's car was lying in the bag of bits when first Rome qualifying was taking place. So you spoke to them,
Oliver. 9-5. Yeah, I did speak to both of them pre-weekend.
Is that's Da Costa making a move?
Da Costa just getting past. That must be Joel Eriksson.
Is that for lapped position? Seta Camera, who's got attack mode, who's going to try and go around the outside, but Da Costa, without attack mode, actually managed to hold off the Dragon. That just slows
that really shows the difference in the Tachita and the Dragon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seta Camara just being completely unable to get on song with the Tachita. Only when they get out to high speed down the straights, really. In the corners, Cheetah's the way better handling motor.
Closing up as well. Who next go on attack mode? It's so close as Seta Camera now battling on once again with Da Costa. Da Costa's down to 13th.
The interesting thing here is, can Sims get past Oliver Roland as Seta Camera does clear Da Costa, so Da Costa drops down to 13th.
Yeah, the driver tracker was showing it there as well, and just a little bit of positions changing. Remind if you're watching along with us, there's no safety car. That's just where it's parked. They've removed Mitch Evans' car, though, from the track. Set a camera out of attack mode now as well as we come back down towards turn 1. And Sims looking very racy indeed behind Roland. But Norman Nato leads this race at the moment, and he's not in contention for the championship, but he's going for a first win.
Well, certainly helped Venturi in the team's championship to get a win under their belt. Helped them beat Nissan, which is no big feat. And potentially,
there's Jake Dennis.
Mahindra might be in range for them too. But of course, with Sims in third and Lynn fighting on the verge of points, I think Mahindra might be safe as we look at Jake Dennis explaining what happened to the team. And really have to say that Jake Dennis, sort of inexperienced there, just got caught in the toe. Boemi thought there was a way around the outside, got onto the marbles, and from that point on, there was nothing he could do. But look at this, Roland defending like crazy from Sims, while Nato beginning to make hay here. Could Norman Nato win at the end of his debut season.
Thought we were going to have a Sims being told try and get past, but we haven't heard that ourselves. That's what Jack Nicholls has just been told.
Still getting third hand account there.
But still as well, no incident now, no further action for Verline's overtaking into the yellow flag. So Verline gets out of that one.
Vandoorne has run out of attack mode and he's still in fourth position. So he was able to get past Lotter, but Lotter now has another minute of attack mode there. So this has really worked against Mercedes, or at least for Vandoorne anyway.
So now look at this. Sims desperately trying to go left and right, and that's forcing Roland to go defensive. He takes a tight line through turn 2 and 3 as well as we head down to the kinks sections as well.
Remember, Roland has got another attack mode, as has Norman Nato.
Can Sims...
Sims is about to run out of his.
Sims has got to have a go now at the hairpin area down at turn 5.
Well, he'll get a little bit on the straight, about 30 seconds or so. Here we go. This is going to be his best chance, I think.
Now down towards the running. Who's that taking attack mode further back?
That's
Pascal
Verline.
Verline. Here comes Sims right round the outside into the braking zone. Roland doesn't even try to defend it. Knows it was a lost cause.
Yeah, but here we go. Sims is about to run out in a couple of seconds.
Dillbag's happy with that one.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's really helped. Roland's really helped Norman Nato no end there.
And what's
now
happened?
Norman Nato can potentially go into attack mode and merge in front of Sims.
Has Friends taken attack mode? Because he's dropped down my timing order. He's been passed by Bird and Gunther.
Oh, he might have tried to, but yeah, Robin Friend's really struggling. There's just not much he can do there. Bird has gone into attack mode and got by Friends.
Yeah.
Friends in trouble,
Right.
I think. There we go.
Yeah.
He's going to fall into the clutches of Turvey and Rast in a minute.
So this now puts De Vries on 103 points, and then as well with no points for Mortaro.
Yeah, De Vries
Dennis.
just got by Tom Blomqvist, crucially enough. And I think is that Lotter ahead of him now, yeah.
Yeah. Attack mode too slow, Roland said. So attack mode he was claiming it was too slow, so that's an interesting call.
Is that Nissan sort of not being able to get the most out of attack mode compared to the Mahindra?
Almost, yeah, I think you're right, almost certainly.
Or it could be when they entered attack mode, they lost too much time.
Verline up to 7th, Blomqvist and Vern, are they yeah, Buemi goes through attack mode. And that promotes them up as well. Da Costa to Grassi.
You know the Mahindra is a really efficient car as Verline now going to go all around the outside of Tom Blomqvist. Just cuts in. Blomqvist has to back out
That was a great move as well. Verline not giving anything out there today.
The man with the mustache really wants me to get rid of mine.
Well, did you say Verline go on the podium or Verline won? What
I
did you
said if
say?
Verline wins the championship, I'll show
right.
my mustache. Or if Gunther wins, but Gunther is down in 16th fighting with Sam Bird, so that's looking pretty safe. But Verline could really get into the top 3 here.
Verline stands a chance here. As we watch his teammate Sims under a battle now with Roland.
But the problem is Verline has been overtaken by De Vries here. He's still got 2 minutes left. He might be able to get back on song with him. But I wonder if De Vries will fight too hard, knowing how far behind Verline is in the standings.
I don't think he'd fight too
Verline
hard.
really needs to win this thing with De Vries, like no better than about 8th, I think, in order to win it.
Realistically, it's the 2 championship contenders, 6th and 7th, with De Vries and Verline. In the switch around. So, yeah, this is what they're battling with. Vern, I think, is having an attack on Blomqvist at the same time as well. And Blomqvist and him are swapping positions. Seta Cameron and Lynn have passed each other. Ericsson's passed Rast as well. And we're on board with the wrong car because Blomqvist and Vern are the ones to be watching. There we go. Blomqvist passes Vern. And Vern has attack mode.
Blomqvist using his second attack mode to good effect there.
And he's going to have more of it than Vern. So they're pretty much racing each other with Matt with 235 kilowatts of power each.
Blomqvist is really just trying to hold on to 8th place here. I think that's about the best you can hope for. But yeah, Sims and Roland. I think Roland's a little quicker out of attack mode, but Sims using a very aggressive attack mode strategy and making it work here. This isn't like the race yesterday where if you got attack mode, we sort of Rene Rast breezed through as we see Lynn fighting with Sete Camera.
So that's Lynn up into 11th place. Sete Camera dropping down to 12th. There's the middle part.
Comes, that looks
Da Costa,
like
Da Grassi.
Da Costa, yeah.
Yeah, Da Costa, Da Grassi, Birds. Yeah.
Camera.
So did he make the move? Can't see.
Vandoorne's
attacking Roland. Vandoorne's attacking Roland. Look at that. Is that why? Roland's taking attack mode. So Vandoorne goes up there. Roland takes attack mode. Vandoorne moves up the order. De Vries has taken his second attack mode as well and has come out behind Vern.
And Norman Nato's taken it and coming back in the lead.
Vern dives up the inside of Blomqvist, and Blomqvist gave absolutely zero room. So Vern had to literally force his way through there.
Yeah, there's not a lot that Tom Blomqvist can do with that Neo, though. It just doesn't have the pace. compared to the cars around it. You see Turvey down in 19th, just struggling to keep up with René Rast.
Bird's past Sete Camera, so Bird's up to 14th place now as well. Verline and Verne, long over attack mode, is now to the inside as well. Roland trying to come back on Vandoorne towards turn 1 and goes through. Lotterer tries to send in as well, can't.
Good clean move by Roland there.
So the two, we got the two Porsches there as well, Lotterer and Verline, with De Vries very close to this battle. So now it all starts to come into championship as De Vries almost runs into the back of Verline, getting out of shape in towards turn 2's hairpin.
I wonder if they will use Vandoorne to hold up the Porsches to help De Vries here, who's in attack mode.
I think he would, yeah. I think Mercedes would use
all the
Vandoorne
cars
as
ahead
game.
of Vandoorne are not threats to Mercedes for the title.
They're all out of it. They all qualified for in groups.
Even in Teams Championship, the only one is potentially Mahindra with Sims, and he's so far ahead that it's not really worth worrying about at this point.
It's way too far back as well. There we go, look.
Oh, he's got a car in between them. There we go.
De Vries up the inside, getting past Verline. That's now to P6. He's got Lotterer just ahead of him, but De Vries has used his last attack mode. Lotterer still has one to play for. So De Vries, if he can get past Lotterer, has got to defend more. Nato in control of this race and has been now for 10 laps. Let's hear from Jade Dennis with Nikki.
Through the first lap incident.
Honestly, I'm still a bit confused what happened now. We obviously suffered some sort of failure with the
Side
car.
by side, that's
Lotterer getting past Vandoorne.
Lotterer passes Vandoorne. Vandoorne tries to come back at him on the inside as well. Switches
And
positions.
Costa is using fan boost to try and get past Lynn, but wasn't able to do so. Oh, look at that. De Vries having to really go wide.
The two Mercedes drivers coming close together. We'll turn it to Jake.
Obviously, I have no idea what happened. Nobody knows yet. We obviously don't have the car back, but it is what it is. Obviously, it's just a shame. Obviously, Evans had a technical issue. So did I, and then obviously it took out Mortara. So 3 of the main guys are out of the world title. So it's a shame it's ended like this, but nevertheless, we move on. We've had such an incredible season.
And
De
there...
Vries passes Vandoorne on the straight. That looked like Vandoorne wasn't fighting that one too hard, Josh.
No, that is a complete team decision between them there. So through goes Vandoorne. Yeah, through goes De Vries. De Vries to 5th. Vandoorne down to 6th as well. And Blomqvist now hitting 10 seconds left. And it's all shaping up very nicely here. Roland and Sims battling together. This is a great championship decider. Now, here we go, look. Sims under pressure from Roland, trying to send him around the outside as Degrassi uses his fan boost.
Yeah, there we go. Roland wasn't quite far enough, and he's only got less than a minute left to try and get past the Mahindra. So, really, it's go time for Oliver Roland. He tries around the outside at the hairpin. Sims had that one covered. And the lead NATO has now, as his attack mode itself is running out, is about 4 seconds.
Vandoorne and Verline.
Roland really needs to get in front if he wants to win this race.
De Vries has gone through, and we've got a yellow at turn 2. And it's Antonio Felix da Costa. Da Costa's off, and he's off the track.
Da Costa had just used fan boost as well, as we did just see. I think that was Lotterer just entering his final attack mode there.
So that's De Vries to 4th.
Verline.
Out of the race is Antonio Felix da Costa. He stopped on the track. And that's going to bring out a safety car.
Gone, then.
Bird goes to 12th as well as the yellows are out turn 2. And this could trigger the safety car. Trying to see what there. Oh, it's in the wall.
Yeah, the front wing's gone.
And this will be a safety car. They can't clear that with a full course yellow.
Yeah.
So
this
exit
is exactly
2.
Where I think Mitch Evans actually may have been fed into that wall last time we raced here.
And that's another championship contender gone.
Yeah, it's just a yellow flag there, but as Lotterer gets past Verline, he needs to do it because he's just gone into attack mode right as that yellow flag has come out. Where is Lotterer? He's on the exit there. You can just see. That's
a dangerous... How's he done that? That's a very unusual...
Has he been pushed in the wall, maybe? Because he was fighting with... who was it? He was just behind Jeb, wasn't he? He was fighting with Buemi and Lynn.
He was asked on the radio what happened. He said, watch the TV, you'll see. So I want to see a replay, please, directors. Nato leads, but this if the safety car comes out, this really hampers Lotterer, who's on his attack mode.
It's annoying when drivers just assume that the TV will pick up everything.
Safety car! Safety car!
There we go, just as Lotterer gets past Vandoorne.
That's crucial, actually. It's now the safety car gets called. So safety car
called just after that, so he gets to keep the position, but 2.5 minutes wasted of attack mode, basically.
Oh, was it Degrassi?
Oh, it was Lucas. So Lucas
sells in the dummy
down the inside,
forcing him into the wall.
Yeah, pushed him wide into the wall there. Nothing Da Costa could do. That was dirty by Degrassi.
So let's see.
After such a brilliant drive yesterday, I don't think he covered himself in glory there. Yeah, made
what happened there? It looked like they got locked
the
together.
exit of the corner as wide as possible.
Yeah.
And,
did they get locked together? I don't think they did.
I could see a penalty coming Degrassi's way, so no title for you either. But harsh. Another sad way for a title defence to end, really.
Oh, you can't believe it. Well, some of these times either. So let's get this confirmed. We have got Degrassi facing a penalty, but 4 championship contenders are out of the race.
He's not under investigation yet. They may let him get away with it.
But Mortara running second in the title out. Jake Dennis running third out. Mitch Evans running fourth out. Da Costa running 7th out. The championship is just whittling and going down the way, and it's going the way of Nick de Vries, the F2 champion from 2018.
Frines has got up to 14th, and if Degrassi gets a penalty, he can get to 13th, but he's still a bit too far from the points, really.
Da Costa,
got third in 12th, who's stayed out of trouble as well.
Da Costa giving a sarcastic clap as Lucas drove by. Absolutely fantastic.
That was a very James Hunt move, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
Well, James Hunt would probably shake his fist and throw a bottle at the guy.
Is he going to punch the marshal that comes to speak to him?
Oh, I don't think he's quite that upset, because I think he knew his top hopes were a bit remote, but he's certainly a bit annoying.
So if Degrassi gets this penalty that we think it is, that'll drop the top 6 out of it. This would give de Vries the title, surely, for sure.
Well, I think de Vries has really had one hand on it ever since Dennis fell out.
Yeah, when was that? Yeah.
At the restart.
You were right. Those 2 second places in London have really helped de Vries, and he's got a hold of it there.
Yeah, and he has been impressive in this race. He's stayed out of trouble. He's done what he's needed to do. They've used attack mode brilliantly to get in front of his teammate. And luckily, this is, again, luck going Mercedes' way. Lotterer is going to run out of attack mode under safety car, so he won't be a threat to de Vries, presumably, for the rest of the race. De Vries could even potentially finish on the podium here if he's able to catch up to Sims under safety car, of course.
So, just getting the confirmation the safety car
definitely looks
soon.
like DS Cheetah aren't going to win the team's championship now. Da Costa is out, with Verne down in 9th.
Is it time to throw away the Hot Wheels to Cheetah that I've got?
Well, no, you might need it for next season.
That's a good point, yeah. Well, they'll change cosmetics, so there'll be another one out. This is Gen 2.
Well,
Gen 3.
Well, it's still Gen 2 next season.
Is it still Gen 2 next year? I thought we moved to
no,
Gen 3.
it's season 9, Gen 3.
Ah, that's very late.
It'll be 2022, 23.
Oh, is it next year we've got the cosmetic change? The Evo car, the Gen 2
No,
Evo.
I think they scrapped the Evo car to save money because it was sort of of a luxury, and they sort of, because of the pandemic hitting, they had to sort of cut costs, and Evo, unfortunately, was a bit of a victim of that. But the only thing with Evo was it was really designed to sort of reduce contact. Unfortunately, it's the safety car coming in.
Safety car comes in.
And Roland gets a jump on NATO.
We go green again. Safety car in very, very late as well. Nato's been caught blind by that one. I don't think he was told on the radio. And Sims round the outside of Roland into turn 1. And Roland touches the back of Nato as well. That was a very late call for the safety car to come in.
How hard is Nick de Vries going to fight here? Because he's still got Lotterer all over him as Sims goes wide.
Sims is going to have a go at the exit. He's got a great run as well on Roland, but nothing comes of it.
There we go. So Norman NATO. Now, he has driven really well across this whole Berlin weekend, it has to be said. Qualified well in Super Bowl both times, even though it was in Group 3 and 4, I think. 3 or 4, I can't remember which. But NATO leading and looking like he might just hold on from Roland here, but Roland is going to give it everything he's got, as de Vries is being told on the radio, no doubt, to take it easy.
Giving some...
Just giving the readouts of the telemetry of the car.
He sounded a bit nervous there.
He did, didn't he? He was mumbling a couple of his words. Oh, Degrassi and Da Costa under investigation caused a collision. So that's Degrassi's championship hopes gone after such a good day yesterday. Running 6th in the championship. He's out of it.
Not as much as Da Costa's hopes are gone. Though.
Yes, yeah. Oh, and now de Vries.
He's used his fan boost. A good time to use it, I guess.
He wants the power. Oh! Sims goes very late as well. That forces de Vries into the wall. But still, de Vries goes through. And Sims has been passed by Vandoorne.
Both lose position to Lotterer.
And Lotterer coming through as well. Trying to go around the outside of de Vries into the braking zone. 3 abreast. Oh, back out of it. And de Vries goes wide. And Sims sends it up the inside. And look at this. Now we've got 3 abreast. They touch.
Oh, they all hit there. That was both Mercedes and Lotterer.
And Lotterer's got damage. And Lotterer's got damage. Vandoorne's got damage as well. And de Vries is dropping. De Vries has got damage as Vandoorne takes the tech mode. De Vries has got damage yet. He's dropping. De Vries is in trouble.
but he's still looking like in position to win this championship, Joshua.
You
He's got
cannot,
such a big lead.
And there goes Lotter's front wing. It's not unusual.
You know what this means? Verline up to 5th now with De Vries down in 7th. I think he's just about holding on there.
And Lucas de Grassi gets a drive-through penalty for forcing another driver off the track. It's going the way now of Verline.
Is it now?
You might have to shave.
No, look at the Drivers' Championship. Verline's too far back. He's not even going to get into the top 6 if he finishes 5th. He has to get on the podium at the very least.
And here comes Vandoorne back up the inside. This is Vandoorne going for Verline. He's just taking his second attack mode as well as Rast.
Yeah, there we go. So Vandoorne has timed this actually quite well. He could potentially get back onto the podium near where Roland is.
De Vries has got a crack on the bodywork as well, so that shouldn't cause him too much damage, though. But De Vries with a cracked bodywork.
There's a danger that car might fall apart at any minute.
Yeah.
So De Vries is just going to hold on to get as many points as he can out of this thing now.
This is absolutely shocking. Championship, 9 minutes to go, plus 1 lap, and the championship is contending.
De Vries just sort of went for Sims using fan boost when he didn't really need to.
I think he was compromised.
I guess he had to use fan boost as we see Bird going into attack mode, number 2.
I love this debris on the track as Lotto gets passed by Vandoorne, and Vandoorne shuts the door on him.
Missing a whole bunch of his
wheel cover. I think it was an unusual situation. Sims went up the inside, then De Vries had a little bit of a wide moment at turn 2. That put him out wide. That put Sims back
Lotto
ahead.
Wide and let Sims back through onto the podium.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had Vandoorne go side by side with Lotto because they were already battling, and De Vries just appeared out of nowhere for them two, and they just all crunched together as they came through turn 3 and 4. So 3 into 1 doesn't go.
I'll tell you, as we see René Rast somehow getting into 12th and setting the fastest lap. So going into attack mode really late after that second safety car has really helped a lot of drivers here. As we look at that incident again, there we go. So De Vries on the outside couldn't.
It was
really
Vandoorne.
It was Vandoorne trying to. He almost didn't see his teammate was there because he had Lotte in between them.
And there's the rear left damage look that he's been wobbling with. Looking not to have suspension failure, actually. Or puncture.
Yeah, very lucky. That could have been a Rome situation with both cars falling out there.
Vandoorne has passed Sims. Vandoorne, this is it now. Look, it's turn 1. So
this is Nick De Vries on Sims, sorry.
No, yes, there it is.
There we go.
There's Vandoorne passing Sims. Yeah. So Vandoorne to 3rd. Took a while.
So that's really Vandoorne's race was not going well up to this point. So that late safety car with De Grassi really saved his bacon there.
There was a
now he's got a minute to catch up to Roland and potentially fight for the lead. But NATO still holding on. The Achilles heel for NATO for most of this season has been energy management, but he managed it really well in the closing stages yesterday, as we saw, Josh. So
brilliant.
If anything's going to stop him winning, it'd be that, as we see. Oh, that must be Buemi and Rast fighting each other.
Yeah, no, it's Lynn and Bird as well. Lynn, and you're right. Rast has passed Buemi, Bird's passed Lynn as well, actually. So you were looking at the front, I was looking at the back. As Gunther's passed Sete Camera.
To run out in the next 30 seconds or so.
And Gunther's passed Sete Camera as well, so he's up to 15th place as well. There's the championship look.
So Berline would climb up to 11th. It's not
is that
quite enough.
79.
Place. He would, or 6th actually, because Lotte is in between them now. So hopefully, if Porsche's smart, they will swap here and give Verline a chance to get past Sims. Even then, I don't think maybe there's not much point because they wouldn't really make a difference in the team's championship, and Verline's not going to win drivers because he's so far back. But you never know what could happen up front. They would want their leading driver, the one that's in championship contention, to be in front. The one that's crucially got most of the bits of his car still hanging on. Because Lotte has parked company with quite a few of his.
And everyone's now used their fan boost as well, so that's all gone now. Even Vandoorne's used his, so every driver's used it.
I think De Vries maybe wishes he hadn't, because it caused that entire kerfuffle with Sims, Lotte, and Vandoorne.
You don't know where it's going to go next, do you? You think you understand that it's going to be De Vries as the champion.
So look at the energy readings. All pretty similar, actually. Top 8, all on 20%. Rast on 21%, though. So Rast has been managing energy super well, probably because he started from the pit lane.
Yeah, so
and then just went back into the pit lane when the race was stopped after the start line crash. We've had how many drivers fall out? 4.
4. And
all of them title contenders.
It's been a crazy Berlin race as well. Much better than the 6 races in 9 days last season. This has been an almighty championship.
I really love the Gunther one that Gunther won where he held off Verne near the end. That was a great race.
That was
round number 9 last year.
That was the extended track, wasn't it? I liked the extended track. I
think that may have been the ordinary track, actually. Extended track was the last 2, if I remember.
Right, yeah.
That was where, that may have been where Da Costa clinched it. on the first of those races. Oh no, it was Roland won one, and then Vandoorne won the other.
Let's say for Vandoorne.
Increased charge behind Roland. Increased charge.
Increased charge to defend.
Yes.
To attack Roland.
Yeah, to attack Roland, yeah. So, yeah.
So Roland's going to have his mirrors full. I think NATO's got this one, Josh.
I think he has. 4 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. Well, 5 actually, plus 1 lap.
What a great result that would be for Norman NATO, someone who's worked so hard to get into that Venturi seat, had to, stay on the sidelines, do all the simulator work, go to the races while Felipe Massa hogged the seat, and frankly, didn't take a podium, but didn't really show a whole lot of promise. Massa would qualify well, but then always sort of drop back in the races, not particularly great on energy management, and sort of just got pushed out of the way a lot. But Norman NATO, a much more a driver that's really done his homework, and I think that's a key thing I've noticed this year, that a lot of our rookies like NATO and Dennis have really done their job, their homework in the simulator, and that's really paid dividends. And we're seeing it now. NATO just sort of really managed the race superbly, while Vandoorne, Roland, and Sims all been fighting each other. He's been able to use attack mode, get ahead, and really manage it to perfection. Really, I think Venturi have been superb with the strategy there.
Just realised, actually, as you say that as well, with all this going on as well, this could actually be very, very good for De Vries, because he now doesn't have to score any points, and he can save the car damage that he's got.
Lotto trying to go around the outside of Alexander Sims here. This could allow Verline past both of them if Lotto tries his usual kamikaze move.
Lotto, I think, has been one of the drivers this year that he's been always having his front wing hanging off at some point in the race.
Yeah, he tends to... he doesn't really know what that wheel cover looks like.
No, he doesn't, does he?
Seen too much of it,
well,
apart from on the side of the track.
He hasn't got the news that the Evo car's been scrapped.
Well, I'll tell you something, Josh. In the Lego Formula E video I'm working on, there's one driver that ends up being put in a jail cell at some point for driving standards. I'll leave you to guess who it is, but it might have something to do with what we were just talking about.
Is it going to be Lotto? I've got a feeling it'll be Lotto. Please fasten your seatbelts at the airport as well.
You'll have to find out. I'm hoping to get a trailer out once I'm done editing all of Jack's post-race videos. I'm no doubt he's in the media centre in Berlin watching this as eyes on stalks like ours are. As Sims continues to defend. Lotto goes really deep into the corner. Oh.
And they touched it. And Lotto hit the wall at the exit as well. Lotto touched the wall.
He's got to be really careful, because
Verline
can really be held up here.
Verline sends it.
They touched again. At all, and De Vries trying to go around the outside. He's got Vern right behind him, Nick De Vries.
And Rast hit Vern. Rast hit Vern at the exit as well. So they're all bumping up together. It's Dodgems.
Sam Bird, by the way, has done brilliantly to get up to 10 after his horrible qualifying.
Started 22nd, yeah. Oh, side by side! Is that De Vries trying to make a move?
De Vries trying to get past Verline.
Why risk the title?
Rival at the moment.
Yeah, why risk it? Why? That was silly, because now he's under attack from Vern. Vern sends it round the outside into the braking zone. De Vries has the inside. It's shut the door. Rast trying to get through on Vern and De Vries. It's all changing.
In a state of
panic.
Look, if I don't score any points, I've still got a great chance of winning this championship, unless everyone ahead retires and Verline wins the race.
So is he just basically going for it?
Yeah, I think so. And it may also be the fact that Verline is the only person who could potentially stop him. He's the only one sort of close enough in entitled contention. Whereas, it does seem a little bit like De Vries, he can't. As we see Buemi being passed by Lynn.
Yeah, and Buemi tries to come back at him as well as we cut to on board with Nick De Vries into the hairpin at turn 2. Yeah, Lynn did get past Buemi. Buemi can't do anything. 1 minute, 10 seconds plus a lap to go. Here's your championship standings at the moment. It will be Nick De Vries who will be the world champion for ABB Formula E, the first ever world champion. We've had 6 seasons before this. They were all classified as National Euro Championship for some reason. But this is the first ever World Championship.
Against Jeff.
Defending against Jeff is the one for De Vries.
Yeah, he's got to beat the 2-time world champion to become the world champion, hasn't he? Well, actually, he doesn't really have to beat him, but but it was certainly a lot of pride up for grabs here.
I'll tell you what, as well. Mercedes will also win the team's championship. They'll do the double. When it was the news broke this morning that they could leave the championship. Maybe, as you said, under the red flag, this could make them change their minds of the championship. 2 laps to go as diving up the inside.
Lotto against...
Lotterer
Sims
goes
has to cut
through,
back.
and Sims
That
is now
was great
banging
stuff
side
by
by side.
Sims.
Down towards turn 2 we go, and they're going to make contact. They have made contact. Sims in trouble. Lotterer trying on the inside. Sims trying to get back through. They touch. There's debris on the track. Coming to the exit. The yellow flags come out at turn 2 for the debris.
4th place for Lotterer then, and Verline I think will be looking to get through as well. So Sims really in trouble here. He's had a great race up to now, but yeah, the person managing energy best, by the way, is Nick Cassidy down in 17th at the moment, 10% compared to everyone else.
The clock
So
has hit
really
0.
so Cassidy be really hoping everyone ahead runs out, but they've got 3 or 4% left. I think everyone should just about be okay. NATO certainly will be.
The clock's hit 0. The time is up. We are coming to the last lap of the ABB Formula E World Championship for Season 7.
Surely it's going to be De Vries here.
Yeah, it has to be. Mercedes will win the team's championship by 9 points. Final lap, the call. And this is all starting to come together for Nick De Vries as well. As Sims goes to the inside to try and have a
Roland
look.
on 2% though. I think Vandoorne might fancy a chance at second here.
I would go for second. If Vandoorne can do it, I'd go for it. Give Mercedes something else to cheer about as well. And still, this is under pressure again. There's debris in the middle part of the track. This is on board with De Vries. He can't do anything. He's trying to get through on Verline. They're still causing it. Roland's in 1% as well. And De Vries is coming to pressure from Sam Bird.
Going really wide.
Bird's past Vern and De Vries. Bird's up to 7th. De Vries is down to 8th. So Bird is in there.
Oh, still too late though for Bird to make a difference in
the
constructors for Jaguar. Oh,
and that was Rast
Rene
and
Rast
Vern.
is pushing Vern out of the way. Yeah,
and De Vries has got to get through again here as well. It's all still to play for. Blomqvist goes up into 10th place, and Bird's going to try and spoil it. But it is going to be the championship run. Out of the last corner, Norman Nato wins for the first ever time in Formula E. But across the line, Roland second, Vandoorne third. But the Season 7 ABB FIA Formula E World Champion, Nick De Vries is the World Champion for 2021. And a driver who chose Formula E over Formula 1 is now champion of the world.
Well, I think Formula 1 passed him over after he won Formula 2. Roland and Lotte crossing the line with a minimal amount of energy left. They must have coasted over the line, basically. And Verline nearly got Sims for 5th place there, but it wouldn't have made a difference there. It's a shame for Verline because he was the only one really that could potentially have stopped De Vries. But yeah, it was one where this is a race where Jake Dennis, I think, lost the championship mainly due to his inexperience, but De Vries kept his head for the most part, almost got crashed out with Lotterer.
Let's hear for the world champion.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Mega job. Mega job. Really, really well done. Super well controlled under all that pressure. You deserve it, man. You deserve it.
Nick De Vries is the world champion.
Thank you.
He's going to speak with Dario. Hopefully.
Oh, poor Norman Nato.
Nick
his
De
first
Vries,
win.
it's
Nobody
Dario
cares.
Franchitti. Congratulations on your
Thank you
Formula
very
E
much, Dario.
World Championship.
That was a hell of a ride. I mean, we've experienced so many highs and lows this year, and to finally clinch it in the last race, obviously, I think the fortune was on our side today with everything that happened. But as you saw, I was a bit of a target out there with great pace, so I think we
little bit of a target.
And, I'm super happy for the team.
There was a big silver arrow-shaped target on him, I think.
And that's all she wrote as well. Mercedes.
Yeah, I like how he talked over Dario there.
Mercedes are the constructors' champions as well. They win. They sweep the board in Formula E. For the first time, drivers and constructors' world championships go their way. Nick De Vries is the world champion in Season 7. And it is Mercedes, the team's world champion. What a year. And Toto Wolff might celebrate a championship later on as well. He's, of course, head of the Mercedes EQ, the whole motorsport division.
Yeah, and there's a world champion with a bit of the W missing there but on my screen. But it's
Same here.
come back now. Toto isn't the team principal, though. Ian James is. So I feel like Ian James should have been shown there, not Toto, just because he's more famous from Formula 1. But there we go. Even though there is slight kind of tinge of sadness to this, that our Mercedes going to announce that it's only one more season in Formula E.
I think this might have changed their mind, you know.
Could do. It depends how much publicity they get. I imagine some of the papers in Berlin might give them some, but it's not really going to make the front of most international newspapers, I don't think, which is a shame because I think Nick de Vries really deserves the plaudits there.
He's a world champion now.
He's had some brilliant performances this season. We talked about the farce in Valencia earlier, but even if that hadn't happened, I think Nick de Vries managed that particular race beautifully as Stoffel Vandoorne comes over to congratulate. The problem is there's the two things. We've got NATO celebrating behind.
Yes, there he is.
And then we've got de Vries going to the little title thing. But Vandoorne's, of course, got the real podium to go back to.
Swapping over, and a big cheer there for both Norman Nato, who's a first-time winner in Formula E, and also Nick de Vries, who's a first-time world champion ever. He's won the Formula 2 championship before, but this is the first one.
And this is important for NATO to win because not only does it help Venturi in the team's championship, but also he's fighting for his drive next year. Lucas Di Grassi on the market. A lot of people talking about him potentially going to Venturi. He says he's got two options. He said earlier in the coverage to Jack Nicholls, he's got two options, and Venturi is probably one of them. There's Norman just congratulating Nick de Vries. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Jack Giannomano has to, when he interviews some of these drivers later on. I imagine de Vries will be covered in champagne and somewhere else. Look at how messy that suit is. He was really sweating when they were waiting to be released or something, or maybe some dirt got kicked up somewhere.
Well, it is an airfield, so it's very dusty, isn't it? So maybe that's kicked
in
up.
Places,
the dust,
and he had a bit of contact with Sims Lotterer. But yeah, it's relief there for the Mercedes team and Nick de Vries, because it's so nearly they had a repeat of Rome where they lost it all. It's been a roller coaster season, but I don't think you can really take that one away from Nick de Vries. But as much as I feel sorry for Dennis, Evans, and Mortara, who I think all drove brilliant seasons, can't really take it away from Nick de Vries. He put in the consistent performances when it mattered, and the reward is the title. And there we go. Both Susie Wolf and Toto Wolff happy, unsurprisingly.
Let's hear from him actually in a second, because Nick de Vries won the opening race in Diriyah, and then had three races
one
very
in Valencia
poor.
As well.
One Valencia, then didn't score for about two races. Then he had only 2 points, and then 3 races without any points. Didn't even finish in Puebla race 2. And then London came back 2 strong seconds, reignited his title. Berlin yesterday was no points, but here today he scores 4 points. Let's listen to him now.
And obviously everything came down to the last race, and I think we had a lot of fortune on our side today with everything that had happened. I'm glad that everyone is okay with this incident at the start. And I think we drove an incredible race. We had really good pace in the car, but at the same time, I felt like a target as well, and it seemed like no one was really respecting anything. So at some point, I just wanted to bring it home, and at some point, I knew that it was fine. So we got it.
It was such a determined drive, as if the championship was still at stake from your race today. But actually, you'd already wrapped up the Drivers' Championship, but the Teams' Championship, was that on your mind as well?
Yeah, I mean, the guys were saying, fight Jeff, and it's important. I said, why it's important? Tell me, because I wasn't sure, and I was getting frustrated that they didn't want to tell me, and then obviously they kept hitting me from left, right, center, front, rear, so... I wasn't really happy with that. That's why I was a bit grumpy straight after the race. But I guess
grumpy
now
as
it's
world
such a
champion ever,
thing,
Joshua.
That's what I was just thinking.
None of that matters anymore. No. Our Formula E world champion Nick de Vries. Congratulations.
Well, at least he admits it, that he just didn't like being barged out of the way. Not exactly the way you'd want to win a title, I guess. But good to see him reflecting on the season as a whole.
There's Diriyah, race 1.
Celebrating.
There's Valencia, race...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure Formula want to remember this particular finish.
Race 1 in Valencia, which is... I think he did actually massively look into that one. You've got to admit that, because they did save the energy, but everybody got caught out, bar Mercedes.
To be fair, he was still running second before that happened behind the Costa.
Was he second?
So.
Oh, yes, he was second. Yeah, you're right now.
Yeah, but I think what really won it was those performances in London and those two sets of 18 points that got him in the lead of the championship, because without that, he would have... Oh, here's Norman Nato.
Yesterday, you started on the grid in 6th, and now you've taken your first career win in Formula E. You look like you're in shock.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm completely shocked, to be honest. I still can't trust it. I just want to wait a bit more to be on the podium, and because, you know, like I've been 2 times virtually on the podium this year, but 1 time got disqualified, another time got penalty. So I've missed 2 podium, and, you know, it was really like a frustration when you have this kind of day where you're able to put everything together. It's just an incredible feeling.
And once you managed to actually get ahead, it looked relatively plain sailing. You managed to really pull away from Oliver Roland as well.
Yeah, even in the car, like I asked my engineer about the strategy, about the number of laps, about everything, because I was like, what's happening? Like, but everything, you know, is this kind of day where this morning I was quite unlucky, like not being able to do a lap in Super Poles. But from P6, we were able to have a...
Say again?
Well, he said he didn't get to do a lap in Super Bowl. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah,
did he know?
And that's why he started sick, because there was a technical problem.
Well, congratulations to you.
The connector wasn't put in properly, so he wouldn't charge up properly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I've got it on my notes as well. DNSP did not super pole, and he's performed amazingly well, actually. Thinking about that, and
of course, it helped having Evans get
smashed
taken out.
down.
Look
Yeah.
at Susie Wolf celebrating. We didn't get to see that. Nice to see that now, rather than yesterday, where we saw cut to Susie Wolf right as Mortara is being overtaken.
Yeah, that wasn't a great one. But I've just realised it's a happy Wolf house, isn't it? Mercedes have won.
I was saying earlier,
Yes,
both of them would be very happy.
Let's hear from Roland.
Oliver Roland, congratulations, finishing in P2 in what looked like, after all the drama unfolded, quite a straightforward race.
Oh yeah, there was lots going on, lots to deal with. It was a good race, you know. I had a good car. I'm really pleased to be second. Of course, I wanted to win, but today Norman was a bit better. But yeah, it was a great race, tactical race. I got stuck with Stoffel a little bit at some points, and I ultimately didn't have the pace to go with Norman at the end. But very happy for the team and good points.
Huge congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
There we go. So he seems pretty happy with that, Oliver. And then, of course, he goes to Mahindra next season. I think he's going to be a real threat for the championship finally, because Mahindra are definitely improving this season compared to last, with a win in London, of course, and a couple of podiums here and there. And Sims wasn't, did well to beat Sims today, to be honest. Norman a bit too far ahead. Stormin' Norman, they should call him. And great to see Norman Nato finally get, well, I say finally, he's a rookie as well, and just like Jake Dennis was. And
first year.
I do think Norman kind of flew under the radar for a lot of the season, but he was aggressive in places where he needed to be. I was impressed by Norman Nato this season, to be honest, even though his results weren't quite as good as the likes of Jake Dennis. So great to see him finally get that win, and I really hope Norman Nato is there at Venturi next season. Not just because I don't really like Degrassi, but but because I think he's a great driver in his own right.
I've got
someone not the biggest name, but someone who I think can make a name for himself and can perform. And I think that's something that Formula E should be focusing on. We don't need a sort of Felipe Massa type driver who's coasting on former glory.
I don't think we're going to get to see the podium, because I think Eurosport have gone off, and I think BBC are about to go off as well, because Jenny Gow's come over my earphones at the moment.
Yeah, Jenny Gow, they've not bothered with the studio. They've just got B-roll of the city of Berlin and Jenny in a voiceover booth, probably in Soho somewhere, just saying, well, hope you enjoyed that. Bye, because I realised the studio approach people didn't like because they took them out of it a bit too much.
I like the Pure World feed, to be fair. I don't know why they bother messing around with.
Well, I guess it gives Jenny something to do, but
yeah. To be fair, I'll probably message her later and say, "Where were you?" But of course,
so
yeah.
Where does that rank in terms of title deciders for you, Joshua? Because it was always the coverage continues on the iPlayer, because it seemed like a title that really that Jake Dennis lost rather than Nick De Vries winning it. And of course, Da Costa could maybe have been a factor if Degrassi hadn't taken him out. But I don't know. I'm also trying to think of my driver of the day, and also where that title decider kind of ranks for me in terms of the Formula E title deciders. I don't think it was quite as good as the end of season 3 in Montreal. That was incredibly dramatic with Buemi and Degrassi.
Season 3 I think, was one of the best, because everything was just blowing up everywhere.
First season was very good too. I'm sort of torn between this and the first season.
Okay, between this and season 1?
Yeah, because season 1 had Buemi spinning.
Sorry, Ed. Just 2 seconds. Sorry, Ed. I just realised because I've switched over to BBC iPlayer, Jenny Gow would have been flying over me there. But do continue. Go on.
Yeah, so season 1 had PK winning after Buemi spun, got stuck 9 center, and PK just got enough points to just about stay ahead of Buemi, which was very tense in Battersea Park. But you couldn't really overtake in Battersea Park. I would say this was slightly better than season 1 for me, but it's very close, because I think that was a very memorable occasion for me. Yeah, a lot of the other titles were decided a bit slightly early, so it was great to see it go down to the wire.
It was the last
or
10
people might
minutes.
say it was
really, yeah.
artificial, and that De Vries should have maybe wrapped it up a bit earlier. I do think he had some superb performances this season. A couple of which weren't rewarded actually, a couple of times where they just qualified down the pack and just got caught in incidents that weren't really their fault. But not the biggest fan of Mercedes for reasons I may have mentioned earlier to do with a certain sponsor, but Waterman Whitehouse ad this came on BBC Two.
Oh yeah, the gone fishing thing. That's I think that's the sign we need now that we've gone fishing as well. As Nick De Vries, Nick De Vries getting picked up there and celebrated with by his teams. We've moved to the BBC iPlayer coverage at the moment to wrap up our coverage.
I would have loved to have seen Jake Dennis clinch it, but I'm sure he'll be back next time, back stronger with Andretti, who's still got that BMW powertrain despite BMW leaving. And of course, Audi leaving as well, completely, leaving a slot for season 9 potentially. I just wonder if the Mercedes rumours are true, Josh, do you think, because McLaren are waiting to see what Mercedes would do you they will think, oh, Mercedes don't think it's commercially viable, so why should we go into Formula E? Or do you think, well, with Mercedes gone, there's an extra space? And
McLaren have gone into IndyCar. They've made a bigger stake in the Schmidt-Peterson team, so they want complete control of that. We've got them wanting to do the hypercar series in WEC. They've obviously committed with Formula One as their main goal. I think they would come into Formula E anyway. They've got a big enough venue. They've got the money come in now. So
especially with them going into Extreme E, you've got to think that a gag will be on the phone to them.
Come in, please. Yeah, that's Extreme E as well. Please come in. And I think Mercedes might decide to stay, Let's confirm the championship then for the teams. Mercedes EQ on 183 points. They are the winners. Jaguar just going 1 today, put them on 172. DS Cheetah on 170. Audi Sport as well go 3rd overall. Very quick graphic there, actually, before it goes away. As with the Berlin Tempelhof, we're going to be... It's a 27-minute race, by the way, for the British Touring Car Championship. There's an hour and 25 before that race starts, so we've got plenty of time to bring you the round 14 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship as well, before live coverage of round 15 will end the day here on YouTube. Ed, we're waiting for the podium ceremony, so I'm going to give you 2 questions. We'll have to see if we can do like a wrap-up. I know you'll be on the Grid Network tonight. I'm not sure if I am due to the my esport commitments I've got, because I think it's 10 o'clock tonight our time, and I'm not free until 10:30. I've
got ERC esports commitments for 8 hours of South Korea next weekend on the Saturday. Sorry.
And I've got the 24-hour.
Anyway, you had some questions you were about to give to me.
Yes, 2 questions. 3. Actually, let's give 3 questions. 4 questions.
Well, let's go crazy.
It's getting big now.
This is like an RPG game.
Yes, as the podium starts. Question 1: Race of the year. Which one's your race of the year?
Hard to look past Monaco, isn't it?
Yes, I think that's mine actually as well.
Great freeway fight. I have enjoyed some of the other races, but I do think tracks like London, they needed a little bit of reworking, don't they, in terms of the double hairpin. Are there any other races that could come close to that race in Monaco this season?
New York 2 was quite good.
What 2? Rome race 2?
Rome 2 was good. Rome 2 was good, yeah.
The race between the one where Sims jumped Verline for second, at the safety car restart, and Vandoorne basically won after Cassidy spun. That was pretty good. I don't think any stands out as better than Monaco, really, for me.
No, Monaco, okay.
But there were some other good ones there. I did enjoy both races at Puebla, and you and Megan's commentary, of course.
Oh, yes, you went in Puebla. I forgot about that, yeah.
Even though they were overshadowed somewhat by the post-race stuff. I mean, it was great to see Formula E back in London, even if the double hairpin, the rest of the circuit I thought was great. The double hairpin just needs a little bit of work. And
maybe make
just
it fast.
Just great to see, and also great to see 2 home winners in Jake Dennis and Alex Lynn. Big question of what happens to Alex Lynn now after this season. Okay, what was your other question then? Monaco, I think, we pretty much decided.
Question number 2, who's your driver of the year?
Driver of the year, I'd say Jake Dennis. Despite that error at the end, I think as a rookie, to fight for the championship, to take 2 victories, to finish on the podium, to prove that he could do it not just on road courses like Puebla and Valencia, but also at street tracks like London, like Berlin, when he finished 5th. I do think, and considering it's such a big setback, not scoring in the first 4 races, I felt Jake Dennis really put himself together, was really impressive. Put Gunther in the shade somewhat, and potentially Gunther could lose his seat to one of the other Andretti IndyCar stars, which would be a shame. I do think Max Gunther is still a great driver, but yeah, not quite the season you would have hoped. As the podium's starting there, it must be the French national anthem
for Norman Nato. Yep, that's going on now.
I can't see the iPlay coverage.
Oh, right, sorry.
Bargain Hunt or whatever it is.
Yeah, I can't switch it over either. It's really
That's
really
okay.
But yeah,
I'll make do.
Norman Nato standing on the podium with tears in his eyes as well as the French national anthem plays out.
Last year, he was a reserve driver, probably thinking he wouldn't get the chance, and then Massa announced his retirement, and he got into the box seats.
And did well, actually, as well. Thinking about it, the first race of the year. He didn't score for the first... Well, he actually scored a point for topping the group stages in Rome.
Well, he got disqualified in Rome, didn't he?
And disqualified in Rome, yeah.
Third, just ahead of Verline, isn't he?
His first points didn't come until Valencia round 6, so race 2 Valencia, and he got 10 points there. Shocking.
But again, he was penalised for bumping the back of Lynn. He's been mistake prone. He's had a few errors. He's had his ups and downs, and energy management has been a little bit of a weakness. He's got on top of things. Berlin in particular, he was impressive all weekend. 4th yesterday, let's not forget. So I think well-deserved victory for Norman Nato. But he's not my driver of the entire season. I would say...
Yeah, and now the national anthem of Monaco. The Monegasque national anthem now for Venturi. Susie Wolf on the podium as well.
Were you going to ask me my driver of the day?
That was a team of the year and driver of the day, yeah.
Okay, team of the year... I would say...
It's a tricky one, isn't it, to think
about? It is a bit, because I'm trying to think of a reason not to go for Mercedes.
Should we get team of the year? I would actually go as far as to say Mahindra, for the fact that they had a poor start. They fought
Definitely
hard.
One of the most improved teams. They were 10th
going
into London, let's not forget. Behind Nissan, only ahead of Dragon and Neo. And where are they in the end? Did they filter out?
They'd rocket up to fifth
in overall. Wow, ahead of the likes of Audi, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And
so I think definitely a bigger one there.
I probably would go for. I'm sort of thinking either Jaguar or Techeetah, because I think they were very strong. I think Envision Virgin had a really strong season up until those last 2 races where they just didn't score any points, unfortunately. France finishing 12th in the end. I would definitely go for... I do think this Jaguar, in terms of climbing through the field, they had some great performances. The Cheetah had some great qualifying performances all year, but in the races... they always found themselves going slightly back or defending on the back foot. There was only 2 races that they won. That was, of course, Monaco and Rome. Whereas I felt Jaguar were really consistent the whole season, and a bit unlucky, really, with Evans having that issue right at the end. I think Evans could potentially gotten on the podium and beaten Vandoorne and won today, or he would have been right up there. It's impossible to say, really, because the way it worked out led Nato to win. Driver of the day is coincidentally, I would have to say, I'm sort of split between 3, because Norman Nato won, was brilliant.
Yep.
Sam Bird made up a lot of places to get
P7,
to 7th. And the other drivers, I think Rene Rast did really well to get up to 9th from the pit lane, but also Tom Blomqvist in the Neo, just getting that final point, because it's been such a hard year for Neo 333, and they've had to battle as much as they can for every point. I thought Blomqvist was really strong. Arguably, he's had a stronger year than Turvey. It's just that in the races, Turvey has been able to get it together earlier in the season, and so Blomqvist has scored in more rounds, but Turvey scored bigger in the rounds where he's scored. So I'm sure Turvey will be back next season, and with the Neo 333 a stronger package, they should be able to score points a bit more consistently. But I have been impressed by Mr. Blomqvist this season. It was great to chat to him before the race on the Thursday, and lovely guy. Both of them were lovely guys, and so I'm sort of leaning towards Blomqvist.
Yeah,
but you might disagree with this.
I think Blomqvist was my driver of the weekend. I think I said it in the race, actually. Fantastic qualifying, fantastic race skill, definitely. Trophy now given to Norman Nato.
With him, Sam Bird, I think in this race particular was.
They've given them the selfie stick back. Selfie sticks back for the driver selfie, which is great news.
It was great to see Sam making faces right at the end as well. And
got ahead of De Vries. Got ahead of De Vries. Tried his best for the championship.
De Vries, I think, wasn't fighting him too hard because he had it. So
And for the last time this year, it's champagne time.
Oh, and the camera's completely safe.
Out it goes. There you go. Norman Nato takes the race win from Oliver Roland second. Third place for Stoffel Vandoorne. And hopefully in a second, we'll have Nick de Vries being awarded the Drivers' Championship trophy in a second. And then we'll go off here and
I
come
love
back
that
on
little
quickly.
gesture from,
I like that one,
from
yeah.
Norman. Such a gentleman, you know. In
really
the interview
is.
he did with Jack yesterday, you could tell he was just he was extremely polite and very courteous with his time. Gave a really detailed answer about his strategy and why he didn't feel it quite worked out. But today it was perfect. So full marks to
Fantastic,
Venturi
yeah.
as well. Where did Venturi finish in the teams in the end?
Well, they came into the weekend 8th in this title, and they finished ahead. Well, Venturi actually, thinking about it, let's have a take a look. Points 25. I think they've moved up into at least 5th position. So ahead. Well, Mercedes came in 5th as well. So Mercedes have jumped up. So I think they would have finished 5th. We're waiting for the official things to be printed out, which we haven't got at the moment, which is really annoying. But all we know is that Mercedes have won and de Vries is the champion at the moment. And so with second place, I think, going to Eduardo Mortara still. With, Dennis third,
Yeah, because Vandoorne would only have come in second equal if he'd won, which didn't happen in the end.
Red flag at the line, though. Surprised absolutely everybody, taking out the two title rivals of Mortara and Evans. As René
That was
Rast.
probably the big moment, wasn't it? As
That was
René
the
Rast
one,
gets another fastest lap, by the way.
That's another one. He's had about 4 or 5 this year. That's insane.
It was such a shame he got taken out in the second race in London.
Yes.
I think René Rast could really have been a factor in this championship. And the big question is what happens to him when Audi leaves as well. Hope to see him back in Formula E soon because he has been extremely impressive. It would be such a shame. He'd be missing a trick if he didn't hire René Rast.
Yeah. Down to 20 cars now next year. We're maybe 22, but we could see 20 maybe. Andretti's staying in. We know Audi's going.
Andretti is staying in, but we're losing just Audi.
Just Audi in terms of the cars.
I don't think we have another team coming in for season 8 as well. So it's season 9 where McLaren might be coming in.
Yeah,
or
Ferrari I've heard as well. I'm mulling around their idea.
They've been talking about Ferrari for like years and years. They're always like, oh, we might make an electric car one day if we have to.
Don't think we're going to get I don't think we're going to get de Vries on the podium, which is really upsetting. But we have got to go off air, which is annoying.
So it's been a pleasure commentating with you this season, Josh. We've still got a couple of rounds of ERC to do. I hope to see you for the final round in Spa in October, and I think there's another one in September as well.
I'll be there. I will be there, and it's been a pleasure commentating with you too this season as well. And how fitting is it? It's ending where it started as well for you yourself in the same room back in Rome.
It did, yes, all the way back in April.
That was a long time, yeah.
It's been an eventful few months. They always cram the season together, don't they, in Formula E?
Yeah.
But I have to say, really enjoyed this season, and looking forward to the next one. It's going to be really exciting, all the announcements and stuff. And I'm sure in a couple of minutes' time, Jack John Ryan is going to phone me up or send me a message on this little thing and tell me, I've got like 60 billion videos. I need you to get them up in 2 hours ago.
Yeah, you're the one who's going to have a really hard night. I'll go to the touring cars.
I'm sure our Grid Network will be relieved by the time they phone me up.
Well, that'd be great news. Friday the 28th of January and Saturday the 29th of January. That is when Formula E returns for rounds 1 and 2 of Season 8 of the ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. It kicks off in Diriyah. Ed won't be joining us in Diriyah. We'll see Ed.
Well, I won't begrudge you enjoying those rounds, but my conscience is clear.
Yes, we'll see Ed in Saturday the 12th of February when we get kicked off in Mexico.
I might be able to help you with Formula 1 pre-season testing.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
someone to fill in for a couple of hours or so.
Yeah, definitely drag you back for testing, and I'll even drag you in for some practice sessions before the end of the year as well. So we'll drag you in.
Final thing, if you want some more Formula E action, all of the real Formula E action may have ended, but I'm pretty close. I'm sure once I've edited all this Berlin stuff, I'm finally going to get to go work on the trailer. Obviously, because I'm in Scarborough, I haven't got all the Lego cars in front of me, but I have shot a fair bit of Lego Formula E. The Legorado ePrix from the Wild Wild West, as Will Smith would call it, or would have called it back in the 90s.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get a trailer of that up, and then hopefully the full thing, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. You'll see a lot of familiar faces from Formula E Zone there. And I know we won the award last time. I'm a bit too old to enter the filmmakers talent call this year. But I'm looking forward to seeing what other people come up with there. Don't begrudge other people their success, as kind of just the way I do it.
Yeah.
Privately, I may be jealous, but can't say it out loud.
Don't blame
but
you.
I'm looking forward to sharing like their ePrix, and who knows, maybe there'll be more in the future as well. So watch this space.
And you can get the link to Ed's channel down at the bottom of my own YouTube page as well, which is in one of the featured channel sections as well. So go and subscribe as well. And Ed, it's been a pleasure commentating with you this season for Formula E. We've got another half of the year for Formula 1 to do. We'll drag you in for a couple of sessions as well, and maybe even a race if we can get the tech working. So you're not going to escape you either. We've got some
Hey, well, if
ELCs
you've got
as
no
well.
one else around, then I've got nothing better to do. Then
Fantastic. Perfect commentary team. Ed, my thanks to you for all the races this year as well. My thanks also to Ian Birch for the first race of the year, and to Megan for stepping into the box in Puebla and Diriyah race 2 as well. And my thanks to all of you for watching as well. Formula E concludes its 7th season on our first year broadcasting the sport, and it has been an absolute classic. We came into this weekend with 18 drivers left in the title hunt. Today we had 14, but very, very quickly it became 1. Nick de Vries is the Season 7 champion and the first ever world champion for the ABB FAA Formula E Championship. From us all here, goodbye and see you in Diriyah. Bye for now.